Stanford quarterback Andrew Luck is a Heisman Trophy candidate once again. Some people say he may be the best Stanford quarterback of all time. His team ranked 4th in the country. Tonight, he hopes to keep the nation's longest winning streak alive. But a focused and fired up UCLA defense has other ideas. Can the Bruins bring the curtain down on Andrew Luck and the Stanford win streak? UCLA takes on Stanford in the first Pac-12 game played at the historic Farm. Welcome to Stanford Stadium for Pac-12 College Football Saturday, presented by KFC. As tonight, the UCLA Bruins on the road for the second consecutive week in conference play, taking on the 4th-ranked team in the nation, the Stanford Cardinals. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Brian Baldinger, and welcome to Palo Alto. Over the last couple of years, Brian, Stanford has turned out to be one of the great stories in all of college football. They bring in the nation's longest winning streak behind the exceptional play and especially the leadership of Andrew Luck.
Yeah, and we met with him yesterday. He's got this infectious personality, but he's the whole package, what you're looking for at quarterback. It starts with his classic size. This is a guy 6'4", 235 pounds, and he packs it well, and then he's an intelligent guy. The valedictorian of his class. He does mental gymnastics every play. He's got classic pro release over the top. And look, when he gets stuck, he gets in trouble. He pulls the ball down. He is a load to bring down. He can finish a play now. This is a powerful football team, Joel, and he might be the toughest guy on the team.
He makes everybody around him look better. Let's head down to the UCLA story now with Jim Knox.
All right, Joel, if UCLA is going to knock off Stanford tonight, pull the upset against the 4th-ranked team in the country, Rick Neuheisel said they're going to have to score 5 touchdowns. How do they do it? Well, they got to open the offense, and they're going to open it up with Nelson Rosario right here, number 83, big wide receiver, 6'5". He can catch the ball in traffic. Also, watch the nice hands right here, the one-handed grab, and then he can also go deep and catch the football. Nelson Rosario, a big target. That's how they're going to have to beat Stanford tonight. We'll wait and see. He says anytime you put the football up in the air, he can beat any defensive back in the country. We will see, Joel.
All right, Knoxy, thank you. Well, they do like to go to Rosario, also the tight end, Fourier, but these are two teams that really like to power the football on the ground.
Well, not just power. They run the ball more than they throw it. This is a complete difference than the rest of college football. You're going to see teams that will run with tight ends, 2 backs in a backfield. It's a team that really features the run all night. Who can control the line of scrimmage has the best chance.
When we come back, Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen in our Coors Light studios. You're watching Pac-12 College Football Saturday. We are back in Palo Alto as the UCLA Bruins, winners on the road last week in Corvallis, Oregon, try to win a second straight time away from the Rose Bowl. And here comes the Stanford Cardinals. It is a beautiful night for football up in the Bay Area. 67 degrees in Kent. You'd like to be on the field, Brian.
Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect conditions, but it's always nearly perfect here in Palo Alto.
So 67 degrees, almost no wind whatsoever. And the former Secretary of State and now a professor of political economy in the Graduate School of Business here, Condoleezza Rice, with the coin toss. UCLA has won the toss, and the Bruins are going to get the football first. So one of their playmakers right away is going to be back deep. Jordan Williamson, redshirt freshman from Austin, Texas, will kick it away from his own 30. And back deep for the Bruins, it is going to be the former Colorado Buffalo, Josh Smith, along with Derek Coleman. We are underway on a line drive and a deep one. Van Smith wanted to bring it up, but it'll stay right there upon the urging of Coleman. So UCLA's, and remember, when they bring out Richard Brio, he has not made that many career starts. This is only his 10th. He threw just 11 passes last week, completed 7 of the 11. But there is some ideas that they may open things up.
They may need to. I mean, Rick Neuheisel told us on a conference call this week, Joel, that he feels they need to score 35 points tonight in order to win this game, and that means they're going to have to air it out a little bit more than they did a week ago.
And that was the operative number for Stanford last year when they shut out UCLA at the Rose Bowl 35-0. Shift the tight ends over to the wide side of the field. It's Jonathan Franklin, the single to the backfield. Bends it outside. And decent yardage, breaking a tackle, gets 5 on the first snap of the contest. Knocked out of bounds by Michael Thomas, the free safety. So UCLA, just like Stanford, they'll go unbalanced. They'll double up the tight ends like we saw in the first play. And they got Franklin involved, who had to leave in the second quarter last week with a hip contusion.
Only 5 carries a week ago, but you'll see plenty of Coleman in there tonight. Both of them, if they have their way, they'd love to be able to control it and get big plays off play action after they establish the run.
Breho, first pass, wide open out of the wing, Shaq Evans. Blown assignment. So something under Breho's belt right away with a first down on his first pass attempt. Our Kentucky Fried Chicken KFC starting lineups. Mike Harris, the right tackle. He's a 4-year starter.
He's a senior. He's the leader up there right now. He goes to the weak side. And then you look at Jonathan Franklin, who is starting tonight at running back. This is a team that averages 6 yards a carry on the ground. And they run it a lot more than they throw it in the first 4 games this season.
UCLA spreading the defense now with 2 to each side on a first down from their own 41. It'll be Franklin, and they shut him down immediately. Loss of a half a yard. Well, this defense has been very stout. Only 3 games granted as Bergen made the stop. Our KFC's starting 11 defensively for the Stanford Cardinals, giving up just 36 yards a game on the ground and led by Masufilo, the left end, up front.
The 5th-year senior, he anchors that line. Chase Thomas is going to be asked a lot more because of the loss of Shane Scove a week ago, and then a very experienced secondary featuring 3 seniors.
It'll be Franklin once again, busting his way across the 45 out to the 47. So multiple looks, motion as well for deception for UCLA with a 3rd down coming up.
Well, they run a pistol formation, so the back lines up right behind the quarterback, about 3 yards behind him, and it's an option. It's a read option right here. So if he sees the hole right there, he can give it to Franklin. If it's all shut down, then Breho can pull it, and then he has a run-pass option on the outside.
Derek Coleman has taken over in the backfield on 3rd and 5. Breho going the same way, Shaq Evans, and he's got a first down. Howell was over there. He's forced out by Terrence Brown, but again available.
Joe, Breho is going to be evaluated here on how he plays on 3rd down in this game, and that was an option right there. Got the ball out there to Shaq Evans on the sideline, plenty for the first down. UCLA can kind of stay on schedule right here. They're moving it. They're moving Stanford off of the line of scrimmage, and that's where Stanford takes a lot of pride on being tough and strong up front.
So Breho converting 2 for 2 on 3rd downs now. He keeps Coleman in the backfield. Here comes the blitz, dump it off. Well-designed play, and down the sideline. It's complete for a first down, and he hits Jordan James, who scored his first career touchdown last week in the win over Oregon State.
Well, he's the freshman, and he's got speed, and that play is designed for him. An underneath handoff, he gets him to the outside. You see James is in motion right here. Nice little read because they're coming after Breho right there. But he gets the ball out on time, and this is what James can do. He can beat you on the perimeter with his speed and quickness.
Got a nice block from Coleman over on that side, the little seal. It's Franklin as the single to the backfield on first down from the 22. Coleman again, just lugging his way for about 5 yards. So the arm tackles aren't going to work. They've got some power backs. Jonathan Franklin, Derek Coleman, and also a nice package in Jordan James.
Well, what they did there, Joel, is they went 4 wide receivers, and they spread Stanford sideline to sideline. Stanford doubled both outside receiver, Nelson Rosario. And so the numbers game said there's only 5 guys inside. And right there, Breho did a good job of handing it off and taking the run.
It's outside of the 17. Impressive start for UCLA. Starting back at their own 20. Breho keeps it himself On a zone read, he is belted and put down by Ben Gardner, the right end. Now the game plan for the Bruins.
Well, look, they've got to force at least 2 takeaways from that powerful offense of Stanford. Then Breho has to be excellent. So far in this drive, he's been very good. And ultimately, they feel they need to put up a 35 spot. That's what Rick Neuheisel told us. That's what the score was last year in favor of Stanford, 35-0. They feel that they've got to score touchdowns, especially when they get to this part of the field.
Derek Coleman, the running back, will be in the slot. On the top of your screen. It'll be 3rd and 5, almost 6. Pocket holds up for Breho. Plenty of time. He's got a first down to Rosario. 1st and goal inside the 5. The senior promotion side was available. Plenty of cushion.
No question about it. I mean, here it is on the outside. Just a quick slant right now. Get that slant. You get inside. A big body now. We mentioned it. Jim Knox mentioned it early. He's 6'5". You get inside on the corner there. And that's the matchups that UCLA has to exploit here all night long.
So up from their own 20 now. UCLA with a 1st and goal. Coleman in a 2-back look along with James. And it's going to be Jordan James. He takes it down to the 2. It'll be 2nd and goal from there as he's wrapped up.
You know, Joel, Stanford came in leading the nation in run defense, giving up only 36 yards per game. But they haven't seen a rushing attack and 2 running backs the way UCLA deploys theirs. So this is their best challenge to date. David Shaw knows it. They spent a great deal of time during their bye week, last Monday through Thursday, padding up, physical practices, getting ready for this game.
10th play of the drive, out of the gun, Franklin. The bull of the back dives, he's close. And they're going to put him just inches away inside the 1 in the arms of Jarek Lancaster. Lancaster getting the start due to the injury to Shane Scove, one of their real leaders and their top tackler.
Well, here it is. I mean, you see 3 backs in the backfield. Pretty good job of picking off the outside guys, and then Franklin really trying from up above, really pushing the pile at 240. He's got power just inside the 1 here.
It's Coleman. He'll get it this time, and he won't get there. They stand him up at the 1. Big time play for the Stanford defense. So Derek Coleman shut down.
They stacked him up inside, Joel. They stacked him up. Chase Thomas, Masafilo inside. Very good job there. And when Neuheisel said they need 35 to score, I think he's thinking of going for it here on 4th and 1.5 yards. You're going to be aggressive. You got to stay aggressive.
Well, Rick Neuheisel in his 4th year. So much pressure on this program that had a losing record and have missed bowl opportunities. They have not been bowl eligible 2 of the last 3 seasons. So now,
you're going to throw it. That's a good option to Rosario.
He's got Coleman as a single. James in motion, and it's going to be Breho, and he's stopped. Thought he'd give it to Jordan James. He didn't, and Stanford denies them at the 1. David Perry right in the middle of things.
Now, look, you come in motion right here. You fake the underneath handoff, but really, I thought he missed the hole. I thought the hole was to his right. He ran right into where they stacked it up inside, and that's the type of play that will give your entire team, the stadium, a lift. That's the toughness that Jim Harbaugh instilled in this team when he first came 5 years ago.
Andrew Luck, Heisman Trophy candidate, runner-up last year in the Stanford offense, on the field when we come back. Pac-12 College Football Saturday presented by KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good. Brought to you in part by Verizon, America's largest, most reliable wireless network. And by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Golden opportunity and denied. A lot of Bruin blue and gold here at Stanford Stadium. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox. And we're ready for Stanford's first trip on the field from their offensive unit. Andrew Luck, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception so far this year. And they have really dominated opponents on the ground more than through the air so far over their first 3 games.
Well, they run it more than they throw it. They feature a power running game, usually with 2, 3, sometimes even 4 tight ends on the field.
Stephon Taylor is their tailback, the junior from Mansfield, Texas. They're waiting for the green light, and they are ready to go in the I formation. in the fullback. It'll be the fullback, and good yardage for Mike. He gets 6 after the 7. So breathing room for Andrew Luck. Zumwalt making the stop. Andrew Luck at 6'4", 235 pounds. A lot of people wondered whether he was going to come back. Architecture major. And when we asked him yesterday why architecture, he said, when I was a kid, I was taping toothpicks together, playing with a lot of Legos. And he goes, I don't like writing papers. I'm not that good at writing papers, but I'm decent at math.
I'm surprised he knew what Legos were. I thought that was an old school toy that we got.
Trips in the backfield, and now they lose Ertz, the tight end. And here comes, out of the edge, Luck. Beautiful throw over the middle. He's got Ertz. He's got a first down to the 25. KFC's starting 11 offensively for Andrew Luck and the Stanford Cardinal.
Well, they bring back 2 seniors. David DeCastro, the powerful right guard. He'll have a nice career on Sundays after this. He anchors that line. And then Kobe Fleener is one of those guys who's a tweener. Fleener is a tweener. Tight end, receiver, deep threat, kind of does it all in the passing game and helps him out in the run game.
He goes at 6'6", 255 pounds, and he is the 3rd fastest on the team with that kind of size. It'll be Taylor. Good run. He's got a first down. Making it look easy for 11 out to the 35, the junior, who goes at 5'11", 210 pounds, brought down by Hoffmeister.
Luck goes, hurry up here, speeds it up, keeps the substitutions to a minimum by UCLA, try to get them on their heels.
Now the play fake, Luck, plenty of time and a good one. First down, Owusu, his senior target, and really the only experience out there at the wide receiver position.
They lost a couple of good players, Doug Baldwin to the pros last year, but here's just play action. Excellent ball fake here by Luck. Throws that ball on the run, and when he gets on the perimeter, he's about as accurate as anybody that plays the game.
Now totally different look for Stanford with 2 to each side, movement up front. UCLA almost bit. Can they get pressure on Andrew Luck? Little stunt up front. Luck underneath. And what a pop on Owusu as he is drilled that time. It's by Aaron Hester, the corner out of Compton.
Nice hit. Nice play by Hester there. They actually put the back and wide receiver to the right, 3 tight ends to the left, and he played it well.
So 2nd and 10. Stanford comes in averaging 46 a game, but you can go back to last season. Over the last 16 games, it's 41 points. Their average offensively. Really impressive. 12-1 record last year. Counter action for Taylor. And he got the block to the outside as he's bumped out by Hester, but decent yardage. And it's going to bring up a 3rd mid-range play, about 6 yards.
Interesting, Stephon Taylor, you know, in a 121-year history of Stanford, they had 8 backs that went over 1,000 yards. But just in the last 5 years now, you know, they've had Toby Gerhart go over it twice. They've had Taylor go over it last year. He'll probably go over it this year. I mean, their offense and the philosophy has changed. They're run first, and if talking to Andrew Luck, a guy that's as talented as he is as a thrower, to him to buy into this program says a lot about what's important to him, which is winning games.
And it's a new blue-collar mentality here on the farm at Stanford, and it was installed, don't forget, 4 years ago when Jim Harbaugh took over. David Shaw continues with that. Welcome back to Palo Alto. Stanford out of the timeout, facing their first 3rd down of the contest. It's 3rd and 6 when they put it back into play for Andrew Luck, who's joining some very elite company. Now, John Elway, all-time career leader when it comes to touchdown tosses. Steve Stenz from 5 behind. Now, Andrew Luck, 3rd best on that list, just 1 ahead of former Heisman winner Jim Plunkett, who's still in the neighborhood and still comes to the games here at Stanford.
Well, he's seen a good product on the field, and I don't think he minds the fact that Andrew Luck has passed him, because I think he sees a lot of what he was like as a leader when he was the former #1 draft pick in the NFL.
So they took the timeout. Stanford the first of the first half. And now Luck out of the gun. Good protection and a little dart for a first down. It's Kobe Fleener going down to get it. He's put down by McKay.
Well, Fleener's a good target in the middle of the field, but Andrew Luck did a great job of stepping up into the pocket, what we call climbing the pocket and avoiding the rush, and he gets a nice clear view of Fleener right there, and it's just pitch and catch right in front of him. He knows exactly what he needs for the first down, falls forward, new set of downs.
Shift the tight end. Troy Lolo only goes at 6'8", the guy that comes over to the short side of the field on the hip of the right tackle. Little delay action for Stephon Taylor. And it's down to the 36 for a game of 4. Now, the game plan for the Cardinal coming in.
Well, they want to run it more than they throw it. And when they do that, they win time of possession. They keep the defense off the field. They keep them fresh. And then their game plan is conservative, but they don't turn the ball over. They cherish the ball. And UCLA, they need to try and get that ball out here to change tempo and change the game.
It'll be 2nd and 6. Drive started back at the 1 at Stanford. Luck with too much time, taking a pop, but still, boy, he's got such size, driving forward for a gain of about 4 as Teppa puts him down.
Well, he's strong now. He can go in there with the trees and the cows. You're going to see, I mean, it's just covered sack out here. They're man-to-man right there. No place for Luck to go, and he's not going to force it. So here he is, climbing the pocket, stepping up, got 2 hands around that ball, protecting the ball. He knows that's priority number 1 when he gets into traffic.
And Odigizua, he got into the play from the side now. A 3rd and 2 for Luck and Stanford. Hewitt has checked into the game. And easy for Taylor. His knee went down, but he's got the first down on the grab. The only miss was a hit on Owusu. That's how efficient Andrew Luck has been to start this game.
You know, he gets the call from David Shaw, who gets it from Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator upstairs. And on any given play, they give him 3 plays. And then he decides, and he calls all 3 in the huddle. And there's a lot of verbiage involved. All right, so now he comes to the line of scrimmage. He surveys what UCLA has. Okay, if you hear kill, kill tonight, he's changing it to the next play.
It'll be Tyler Gaffney. It's a gadget play. Drew Terrell wants to throw back to Andrew Luck. And a one-handed grab, no. Out of bounds, just barely. We'll see, though.
What? Wait, could he be the best receiver here, too?
He's big enough.
Well, I mean, the one-handed grab, Joel. Now, here it is. Nice play action right there. Throw back to the quarterback. Boy, one big paw out there. Oh, he got a foot in, I think.
Did he possess the ball?
Well,
with the foot down.
That foot's in. And I think he's got possession. That should be a catch.
They're going to review it. That's why I said right away. It's definitely going to be a review. As Andrew Luck looks up at the board.
Nothing to it, Coach. There you see the big right paw steps out. Now, that ball is stuck in that hand. The left foot is down. He's got control of that ball, Joel.
It looks that way.
That'll be a catch and a first down.
So now they need to find out where to place it as he goes out inside the 15 at about the 13.
You know, you mentioned that he's an architectural design major, and that's a good piece of architectural design right there. And as far as playbooks are concerned, in X's and O's. And he shows the ball at the end, just to let everybody know that he had control all the way through. The highlight reel just continues to grow for Andrew Luck.
We spent time with Andrew Luck yesterday, and you can understand why his teammates feel the way they do, his leadership qualities. And I said to you after we spent a few minutes with him, I said, it's almost like his whole body smiles because he is that much fun to be around and talk with.
Well, he comes in, he's got his flip-flops on. He looks like your basic California boy, even though, you know, he's from Houston, grew up in Frankfurt, Germany, and London, England. A very cultured, worldly guy. His father was the World League commissioner of American football over there for a long time, so he traveled with it. But just a regular guy, rides his bike through campus. He came back this year because he was enjoying the Stanford experience as much as anybody on this campus. And these years go by quickly.
So they continue to look at it upstairs. And I've got a feeling they're looking at it a long time to make sure of where they place it.
After review, There is a change in the ruling on the field. The receiver caught the pass. It will be first down at the 15.5-yard line.
Our referee from the Pac-12 tonight is Jack Wood.
The old throwback to the quarterback, and there he is. That'll be in a lot of highlight reels this weekend. I mean, just sticking the one paw out there and the presence to get the foot down and control the ball. Now, as excited as everybody is, he wants him to calm down, and he is the maestro.
Gaffney stays with the backfield. Don't forget it started with him on the toss to Drew Terrell, the wide receiver out of Chandler, Arizona. So they put him out with a first down at the 15. That is a big look. Ryan Hewitt sets up as the fullback, and little bubble action. Owusu has a block, and he's got it inside the 10. It'll be a first and goal, or check that. It'll be a second and about a yard down at about the 7-yard line. Westgate tripped him up.
Now, look what they got going on the outside. They get the left tackle, Jonathan Martin. He gets out here on the perimeter, and then Zach Ertz is a tight end already lined up out there, 86. So you get two big guys, basically two tackles out there, leading the way against defensive backs. That was the call at the line of scrimmage by Andrew Luck to take advantage of that.
So now second and a yard. Look at the bunch. It's almost like a little diamond on the right side. And counter action now from Gaffney, breaking the tackle, but I believe he's short still to the first down. So they brought it back the other way with all that set up on the right side, and Hester made the stop.
Well, you mentioned it looked like a diamond over there. They'll do that. They'll stack one side of the field with 3 or 4 players like they did last play, and then they'll run away from it. UCLA is anticipating the ball's going to be run to the power and to all the bodies. They come back the other direction.
And they'll also, as we'll see throughout the contest, when we talked with David Shaw a long time yesterday, the head coach, they'll go unbalanced a good half dozen times. So now 30-yard. Give it off to the out man. Man, it's going to be first and goal as they just drive the pile. So first down.
They get that Joff Sorry, Joe. They get that Joff Minkin in there in motion. He's basically a tight end. I mean, it's a tight end-based offense. He's just a lead blocker. I can hear the pop from up here.
Well, Hewitt runs at 6'4", 240, and Minkin 6'4", 255.
Yeah, I mean, they all have size. You know, they all can bend their knees. They all can run block. They run block first before they ever get the chance to go catch the ball.
Jeremy Stewart stays with the backfield behind Hewitt.
That's 3 tight ends that have now just split out. Here, 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 all split out.
And a delay of game. Waiting for them to get into that formation. It cost him, and Andrew Luck knew it. And all 3 you're talking about are 6'6" or better.
Yeah.
Delay of game. Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
A rare mistake.
Well, they have 3 tight ends that just split out there. You have Fleener, who is basically a tall wide receiver who can block. They got Zach Ertz, who is a great combination right there of receiver and blocker. And then they have Levine Toilolo, who got hurt in the first game last year, missed the whole season, but back at 6'8" as a guy that is the best blocker up front. And Hewitt's the fullback, and he's a great blocker.
Anthony Wilkerson, a sophomore from Southern California, sets up in the eye. He'll get it on the delay, weaving his way inside the 5, diving to the 3. So the multiple back sets they show, and the personnel they bring in.
Think about this, Joel. This drive started inside their 2-yard line, okay, right at the 1. And UCLA now has defended the run down the field, occasional sprinkling in of a short pass to keep it moving. They've given them formations. They've given them misdirection. They've thrown back to the quarterback. They're showing them everything in their playbook on this opening drive.
They keep the defense on the field, don't they? Time of possession, it usually favors Stanford. It'll be a play fake, jump ball, and out of the reach, a little shove, and will it be on the tight end? Zach Ertz trying to create some space up against Aaron Hester.
I think that's what they're going to get here, Joel. A little push off of Ertz on the outside, trying to get a mismatch size-wise. Oh, I don't know.
Pass interference, offense, number 86. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Well, they're both involved, and it was pretty demonstrative.
Well, that's also a disadvantage. If you put tight ends out there, any kind of a push-off, it's probably going to go against the offensive player. But at the same time, Andrew Luck missed that throw. That's a back shoulder throw.
This is not unusual for Stanford to succeed in their opening drive of the game. In fact, they've led in 13 of their last 16 contests. That is a winning formula when you get out on top early. Stephon Taylor splits out up top on the short side of the field to an empty backfield. Now on 2nd and goal, heat on Luck, middle of the end zone, and what a grab! Touchdown, Fleener!
Well, I think Fleener was trying to outdo Luck on the one-handed catch. What a great seam route. I mean, here's Fleener right here, and he's going right down the seam here.
And contact.
Look at that one-handed catch. It's too easy. His 4th touchdown catch of the season.
In for the point after. It's Jordan Williamson, and we talked about it. You've got all these 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" tight ends as the point is up and good with 9 seconds left in the opening 15 minutes of play. But how does the defensive back compete who's 5'10", 11", maybe even 6 feet? So, Kobe Fleener, the senior from Lamont, Illinois, with a sensational grab. And the 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal with a 99-yard, 16. Sensational start for the Stanford Cardinal. They get the stop at the 1, and then Fleener finishes it off with an 18-yard touchdown grab. And a spectacular catch at that with contact early. Yet he managed to pull it down. So they go 99 yards, 16 plays, better than 8 minutes off the clock as Williamson will kick it away. Coleman back deep with Josh Smith. And they pin Smith to the boundary at the 5. Good return by Smith across the 25. Coors Light game break time as we head to Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. Guys.
Joel, Monty Ball and the Wisconsin Badgers roll out the Big Ten welcome wagon for Nebraska, and I think it ran the Huskers over.
Literally.
Monty Ball, 27 touchdowns in his last 11 games. And meanwhile in Tempe, how about this? Winless Oregon State up by 6 early.
Thanks, guys. And I'm glad you said that. It is early.
Yes.
Very early. Well, late in the first 15 minutes here. Stanford on top. Should be the final play of the first quarter. And Brio wants to throw up with the play fake. And he's got Rosario. He pushed the D back on that side of the field to find some separation, working against Terrence Brown. And effectively throwing the football. So UCLA with a positive on their final snap of the first quarter. But the story is Stanford and the way they mix things up in that 99-yard drive. They lead by 7 as you're watching Pac-12 College Football Saturday, presented by KFC. Andrew Luck and Stanford looking for their 12th consecutive victory ahead of UCLA early as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. And what an impressive drive by Luck.
Well, the first one here is a throw by Drew Terrell on the outside. A great one-handed catch, got reviewed. And then the final one here to Fleener, another one-handed catch. You're seeing elite athletes with elite skill showing up here on that opening touchdown drive of 99 yards. And this is what it looks like. I mean, this right here is Stanford football, where you get time of possession, 8 minutes and 8 seconds on that opening 99-yard drive. And in order to go 99, Joel, you've got to convert your third downs. They were 3 for 3 on third down.
And the failure of UCLA in the red zone is the difference in this game so far.
No question, no question. UCLA had their chance in their opening drive, and they couldn't finish. And whatever level of football you want to watch, and you want to see the teams that win and lose, watch teams in the red zone. Can they convert, and can they hold the team away? Right now, Stanford's winning that battle.
Richard Brejo at the controls, 10th career start for UCLA, taking over for Kevin Prince, who started the Texas game but threw 3 picks in the first 15 minutes of play. Little jet action, yes. Jordan James in motion, cutting back effectively across the 45. Gets about 5, up to the 48. Brought down by Looters.
James gives them the component of speed. You know, and if you're going to run the option game, if you're going to get to the perimeter, speed helps you get you there a little bit faster. And that's what he brings. That's a good first down gain for UCLA.
He was the offensive scout team MVP last season, a redshirt freshman, Southern California, from Corona. To the inside for Breho on second. Long 5, almost 6. Franklin belted immediately. Nothing doing that time. Stanford stout in the front 7. So UCLA, in the loss to Stanford last year, they stayed in the game until the middle of the third before it collapsed, but they failed on third. They were 1 for 9 last season in third downs.
Well, look, I mean, they've got some guys that can create mismatches for you. Nelson Rosario has caught a couple of big passes already today. He's got to be your first read. And he's out. He's all the way out wide.
He's over with another big guy, Taylor Embry, son of John Embry, at about 6'3", 6'4". UCLA's leading receiver last year. Third down for Breho. Pocket collapsing. Good night. He loses it. Loose ball. And does Stanford come up with it?
Well, Stanford came with the blitz that time. They collapsed the pocket with their front 3. That ball came out.
Chase Thomas.
Yeah.
And Stanford comes up with it, created by Thomas.
I mean, look, it looks like it's just a 3-man rush here, but then they bring some blitz as well. So they come in late on what we call a green dog. And there's Chase Thomas on the backside right there. Chase Thomas got that ball out, went right for the arm. There it is. Breho never had a chance to even cock that ball to throw it.
Dead ball, personal foul. UCLA, 15-yard penalty from the spot when the play ended. First down.
That's what you call a short field, as Rick Neuheisel gets an explanation from the side judge. Well, Breho's got to have that. They always talk about the clock with a quarterback. He's got to remember that clock.
Look, the biggest problem at UCLA right now is they can't find a quarterback that fits the system that Rick Neuheisel wants. Kevin Prince, good runner, couldn't throw it, couldn't stay healthy. Breho right here has got to have better security with the ball.
Old-fashioned looking formation in front of Gaffney. And weaving his way. Check that. It is Stephan Taylor. And good yardage as he's got it inside the 25. Down to about the 21. First and 10 line brought to you by Russell Athletic. Stanford. Now, look at the jumbo formation they're in.
That's a power eye.
Strong to the wide side, but they counter it and go over to the other side. Taylor, little indecision cost him, didn't it?
Yeah.
As he's belted to the 19. He's hit by Larimore.
They like to run what we call power O. So you're going to take a look here at this man right here, David DeCastro in the middle. He's going to lead the charge here. He's pulling around. Now there's a hole through here, but he was too late in getting there. Kind of stumbled, kind of stuttered a little bit, but the hole was there. On that power O, that play can break over the center, the left guard, all the way to the outside, Joel. No telling where it's going to break.
Stanford needs a yard. It'll be Hewitt, the up man, and he gets it easily. You know, we talk so often about Andrew Luck and the way he leads this team and throws the football effectively. But don't forget last year Stanford averaged 214 yards a game on the ground. So they had great balance to go 12-1 last season. As Virginia Tech.
You know, it takes a great deal of sacrifice for a guy that could lead the nation in passing if he was in that type of offense. But they're interested in winning their 12th straight game in a row.
Now Luck after the play fake. Coming back the other way to Ertz. Great deception inside the 15 down to the 12 on first down. Boy, do they ever mix things up.
You said it. Deception.
Yes.
It really is. I mean, you watch this, and it is creative what they can do with a bunch of moving parts, mostly the tight ends. Do you play the run? Do you think run and then afterwards got to adjust to the pass? Which one do you try to take away? And here, look at this. Here's Andrew Luck over in motion right now.
What a jigsaw puzzle they put together. Second and about 5. Taylor, slight delay, hammers it to the 7. He's got a 1st and goal for Stanford. The problem for UCLA when they have to play catch-up, and you talked about it, they don't have a quarterback who really throws consistently.
Yeah.
So to get into a big hole, and they're about 7 yards away from that early, as Marsh made that stop.
Well, look, Joel, they blew a great opportunity down there inside the 1. They couldn't score on their opening drive, and then they turned the ball over on their 2nd drive. And here's Stanford, this machine that just can mix it up, can do so many different things because of what Luck does at the line of scrimmage here.
Little bunch trips over to the right side. And toss it back the other way in the misdirection to Drew Terrell. He gets a nice block in the backfield. Boy, they do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And he's got it down to the 3.
Their offense looks like they're banned. I mean, here's
the amoeba.
Yeah, I mean, because there's just so many different guys going in different directions. Here's Terrell, who threw the great pass on the opening series to Andrew Luck. Now he comes on a reverse motion.
And how about Jonathan Martin's crackback?
Well,
timing.
Yeah.
Going to be 2nd and goal from the 3. Taylor hit from behind. And he's down inside the 2. Kendricks on top of the situation for UCLA.
That's a good defensive play by Kendricks that time. To catch the net from behind, getting the penetration, because now Stanford brings in Mikan. They bring in Fleener right now. So they've got a couple of other tight ends that come in that are better pass catchers.
Is there a team with a better threesome of tight ends?
No. In all of football, including the pros, I don't think there's a better group.
Fleener's over to the right side. Tanner diving real close. He's in. Touchdown Stanford.
Well, you want to score inside the 3 and you want to play power football, watch the right guard, David DeCastro here. He'll be on everybody's All-American list. Look at him. Let me go find Lourimore. Let me get a hit on him. When the guard gets into the end zone, normally you score.
Williamson for the point after. So Stanford gets 7 off the turnover on a very short field. It was down to the 28, don't forget, after the personal foul, and that's where they started this drive. 8 plays later, it's 14-0. The Cardinals on top of. With 9:19 to play in the first half, UCLA ready to get it back and try to make sure it doesn't get away early tonight. Our Bank of the West Pac-12 Players of the Week. Our defensive player, Shelly Lyons, senior from Corona, California, leading Arizona State and the Sun Devils over the USC Trojans. Big pick, 41 yards on the score last week. Special teams player, Jordan Poirier of Oregon State. He had 156 return yards, including an 85-yard punt return for a TD. And then, what about Oregon's LaMichael James? 288 yards, a Duck single-game record with 2 touchdowns last week against Arizona. Any question? LaMichael James, the offensive player of the week. There's the combination that's working for Stanford, looking for their 12th straight win. In fact, they're 18-2 over their last 20 here at Stanford Stadium. So you don't want to fall behind. And that's what UCLA is at, as Josh Smith will bring it back from about a yard in the end zone. And takes a pop across the 20 at the 21. Coors Light game break once again with Kevin Frazier, Marcus Allen. Guys.
Joel, Alabama, Florida update, and Marcus, here come the Tide.
When you wear your opponent down, big runs come in the fourth quarter.
Trent Richardson, 181 yards, 38-10, the score there. And meanwhile, Terron Ward and Oregon State, what?
That was a nice move right there.
13-0. Oregon State leading Arizona State. Maybe a hangover from that SC win for the Sun Devils?
Perhaps.
All right, guys, we'll see if that holds up, though, that 13-0 lead. UCLA from the 21. And out of the reach of Jonathan Franklin. Well, we talked about UCLA and their problems coming and playing catch-up football because of the lack of a passing game. They can run the football better than 200 yards a game once again to start this season. But since the start of last season, last in the Pac-12 in yards per game, completion percentage. In fact, they've only got 13 touchdown passes as a group over the last 16 games.
Yeah, you know, there's Kevin Prince right there. hurt a lot 2 years ago when he's been competing with him and Brijo being going back and forth, but neither one of them have really established themselves as a frontline passer.
Little counter action, misdirection. Man, it's across the 24 to the 25 for Jonathan Franklin, the junior from LA's Dorsey High School. He's brought down by Jarek Lancaster.
See now, on that opening drive where UCLA went down to the 1 but couldn't punch it in, Brijo was pretty good on third downs. And here it is. This is a huge play right here. I expect Stanford to come after UCLA with pressure because under pressure right now, Brijo has been shown that he doesn't make good decisions. They're going to try and get some extra bodies at him, and they'll take their chances down the field.
UCLA hit their first 2 third downs. They've missed on their last 2, and they're looking at 3rd and 7. Over the middle, Rosario, not close. He was available out of his reach, working against Terrence Brown.
And he had him. He had Nelson Rosario on the skinny post. We talked about the quarterbacks have to throw the ball better at UCLA. That was a golden opportunity against Terrence Brown there, and the ball just isn't accurate.
Jeff Locke in to punt it away. Back deep for Stanford. It's Drew Terrell. Locke with a 44-yard average. Good hang time. And the fair catch. Back at the 35. So solid field position for Stanford when we come back. And Brijo, he knows he missed a golden opportunity with an available receiver. Stanford in control midway through the first half. Pac-12 College Football Saturday brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Also by MFS Investment Management. And by Russell Athletic, who reminds you that together we are. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox in Palo Alto on a magnificent night for football, mid-60s. And what a start for the 4th-ranked team, led by first-year head coach David Shaw taking over for Jim Harbaugh, the offensive coordinator for Harbaugh the last 4 seasons. And great experience. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Back in 2005 with Bruins head coach Rick Neuheisel with David Shaw. He's coming off a bye week, but don't tell him it was a bye week because he worked him hard. Get to that after the first down snap. Luck brings out Taylor, his tailback in the eye. Man, Taylor weaving his way, big yardage across the 40 to the 42. Jim Knox.
Joel, Rick Neuheisel just came over to the Bruins bench, told his offensive unit, hey guys, don't look at the scoreboard. We took it 98 yards, opening drive. Forget about the scoreboard. Hold your composure. Now, right now, Chris Ward, the big offensive lineman, getting his shoulder looked at. He seems to be okay, but they're looking at his shoulder, guys.
All right, and the Bruins are banged up, and they're in the secondary in particular coming into this game. Sheldon Price, their starter at cornerback, son of Dennis Price, who played for the Bruins from 84 to 87. He is out of the game. And Taylor, big yardage up the middle, inside the 40. He's got a first down inside the 25 as they finally catch him at the 22.
Well, this is their identity, and this is their favorite play, and it's power O. And here's DeCastro, and he's going to pull, and he's going to lead. There's DeCastro right there on Lourimore. He gets the block in the middle linebacker, and Taylor cuts right off of him. Power football right at the Bruins, and Taylor got the split. And that, by the way, Joel, they ran that exact same play the play before. They're not afraid to repeat plays when they're successful here.
It was 36 yards on the run. Stephon Taylor. He gets a break. As now it's going to be Tyler Gaffney, the senior. San Diego in the backfield. Luck on a little screen for Gaffney. Boy, everything they do with rhythm. Concise. This is down to close to the 15.
Well, this is as sharp an execution of a game plan that I've seen in college football this year. Now, they had a week to get ready. And like you mentioned, Joe, last Monday through Thursday, it was like preseason all over again.
They were in pads.
They were in pads. They were hitting. They were thumping. They gave them the weekend off because from here on, they're playing every weekend up until the Pac-12 championship game. They wanted to get them ready, get the fundamentals sharp, and they're showing it and it's on display tonight.
Gaffney had a big game against UCLA last year. Stays with the backfield. It's his number called again. And a good tackle out on an island. Outstanding play by the redshirt freshman from Fresno, Tevin McDonald. And he's in there due to the injury to Tony Dye.
Yeah, he's only his second game. He's just a freshman. Been thrown into duty, and you mentioned UCLA banged up. They've got 7 starters from the very beginning of the season that are out right now.
Hilliard in the secondary. I mentioned Sheldon Price, Mascarenas, Tony Dye with a stinger. And now, can they force a 4th down for the first time in this game with Stanford? Stanford's 5 for 5 in their 3rd down tries. Middle's available, but did the tight end get it? It's taken in by Fleener. He was drilled immediately. He may be about a foot or two short. McDonald again on his back.
That was the old pop pass. I think Andrew Luck might have jumped to throw that one.
Well, when you have that much congestion, it really pays to have a big, tall quarterback like Luck.
There's no question. I mean, he's got the prototypical size that we see on Sundays with Brady and Sam Bradford and Matt Ryan. Over-the-top delivery. Very hard to get that ball tipped.
So Andrew Luck, it's rare when he makes a mistake or there's a miss. He's been that good. He's got Gaffney setting up in the power formation. I'll make it Taylor. He needs a yard and a half, and he gets it to the outback, who makes it look easy. It is Minkin, or make it Hewitt rather, the sophomore from Denver.
Well, I mean, look, it's just, you can't get any more power in the formation than they show. That's Minkin. It reminded me of the old electric football game, Joel, when you just put all those guys on a board and it just vibrated ahead. It's like they're just vibrating themselves right down the field. You put the little cotton football between the legs of the guy and you just turn the machine on. Their favorite formation.
Do they need wide receivers on this team?
I don't know.
Taylor runs into his own blocker, and a good push just the same for UCLA. And at the very bottom, it looked like Zumwalt was there, who lost his helmet, but he was driving him back.
Well, if you're going to play power football, UCLA needs more negative plays. That's the first one where they've knocked Stanford back today. No sacks. They haven't created any kind of turnovers. That's the first negative play that they've been able to put on Stanford.
Is it just me, or does it seem like every Stanford drive takes a half hour? 3.5 to play with the clock moving, and they started back at their own 35. Jump ball, corner of the end zone, and Hester in front of the intended target. She tried to get it over there to Griff Whalen. First look for Whalen tonight. Was it underthrown?
That was a great play by Hester. He got inside out on him. I mean, Whalen's not a tall guy. Nice man turn here. He just took it away from Whalen. I don't know that he could have been thrown better. I thought the coverage was perfect.
That's only the second miss for Andrew Luck. He is now 9 of 11 passing. 3rd and goal. Owusu driven down on a sure-handed tackle by Eric Hendricks, the redshirt freshman from Fresno. Because of all the injuries for UCLA defensively, a lot of first-year players are seeing time early tonight.
But, Stanford doesn't throw a lot of those wide receiver screens like they did to Owusu there. If they feel like they get a matchup on the outside, they'll use it. But normally, when you're up 14-0, there's no sense in really being too aggressive with the ball in the end zone. You get field goal range. Williamson has kicked all 6 he's attempted this year.
3rd and scoring in the Pac-12. Plenty of opportunities. 6 for 6 on field goals. The 23-yard attempt on its way. And more points for Stanford on a long time-consuming drive. So the Cardinal by 17. When we come back, Kevin Frazier, Marcus Allen, our college football studio for a preview of our Geico halftime.
Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, scores and highlights from a day in which we really separated a lot of the pretenders from the contenders. Marcus Allen and I will show you who is trending up and who came crashing down to earth in just moments. Joel.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We look forward to it on the Geico halftime report. 2:37 to play at all Stanford. UCLA had a very impressive opening drive, but failed on 4th and goal at the 1. And then Stanford, all they did was take it 99 yards on the Bruins. Josh Smith, honorable mention, all Big 12 just a few years ago. His freshman season for the Colorado Buffaloes is going to get a short one on the run from the 8. Can he make something out of it? Nope. Good coverage by Stanford at the 20. Joe Hemscott on special teams play. Now let's see if Brio settles down, because it almost looked like after the ball was spiked away by Chase Thomas on the previous possession, he rushed it a little bit last time.
Well, he rushed a bad 3rd down throw. UCLA comes right out, lines up. They've talked about this series on the sideline while the defense is on the field. See if they can execute it here.
Jonathan Franklin to the backfield with Brio. It'll be a delay. And a good play off the edge. Coming up to get it was Michael Thomas, the free safety. He's a senior from Houston, and you talked about the experience in the secondary. 3 senior starters. No substitute for that.
No, and that's Michael Thomas just playing safety right at the line of scrimmage. You know, if the back could have gotten past him, there were some running lanes here, but he squeezed it from the outside. You know, they forced him into the middle, and then he made the play on the outside. But he has a lot of range. Both Howell and Thomas very active at safety.
Bruins try to spread it, and they need to on 2nd and long with 2 to each side. Randall Carroll, Josh Smith into the game. Brio finds Rosario, and that was a nice bullet across the 30, out to the 35 with authority. First down. Can they get points before they go to the locker room?
You see, now Rosario is a big guy, and he can win because of his height on the outside, but he's not a burner. And so even though he catches this here, he can't put that foot around on the ground and get away from Carrington on that play. But that's his limitation. He's what you call a possession guy. Now, you can go down the field. You can keep throwing it to him because he's a difficult guy to match up with.
UCLA moving the chains, clock moving against the Bruins, but they do have plenty of timeouts. And throwing it low and incomplete, looking for Shaq Evans, who he went to twice on that long drive for completions and first downs. It'll make it 2nd and 10. Tough catch for Evans. 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Russell Athletic.
That last throw was from the far hash to the sideline, and it died getting there. You measure a quarterback's arm on that type of a throw across the field. Can he keep it on the line and keep it from dropping? He couldn't do it on the last throw.
Second and 10 from the 35.
He's going to get this off.
He did. Man, he was checking and changing the play at the line. Penalty on UCLA will cost him 5.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Jim Knox, what's the latest?
All right, Joel, this UCLA defense, very tired bunch. They are ready for halftime. Now, speaking of halftime, coming up on the Geico halftime show, Kevin Frazier, Marcus Allen in the studio. A lot of great games going on. They'll take a look at Florida and Alabama, also Wisconsin going against Nebraska, and other top 10 action going on this evening. Guys?
All right, thank you, Jim. Well, Brio now looking at a 2nd and long situation. He only threw 11 passes last week. They ran it successfully at Oregon State. Different story tonight. Pocket starting to collapse. On his way down, low to Franklin. So the heat came from Ben Gardner, the sophomore from Wisconsin. You look at the Stanford roster, and it is all over the country.
Yeah, well, they recruit nationally.
Right.
Yeah. But Gardner, that was just a 3-man rush. They ran a little stunt, and Gardner popped free. I mean, he's their big pass rusher from that defensive line right now. He affected that throw and sets up this 3rd and 15.
Well, if they're getting heat with just a simple stunt or twist and a 3-man rush, UCLA's in trouble.
It is. And there's no question about it. Can they hold up front? You got to be able to block 3 with your 5 linemen.
Need 15, only a 3-man rush. Brio buys some time. Over the middle, it's complete. He's got Fourier, the junior from Encino, California. And a first down. Yes, across the 45 to the 48 in front of Bergen.
See, now that's the first catch by Fourier. You know, and that they've got to find him in the middle of the field. I mean, here he is at the end of the line of scrimmage. He's 6'8". He's very easy to find, and the middle of the field is open for him.
They bring more, rushing 5. And a pop over the middle to Marvray is complete. So now UCLA forced to use a timeout with 44 seconds left in the half. Bergen in on the stop. So it's a process, as we mentioned, and Rick Neuheisel, you can see him tap Brio on the helmet. It's only his 10th career start, and he wasn't the guy, let's face it. He was in the wings every time Prince got hurt.
Yeah, but when Prince got hurt against Houston in the opener this year, Brio came in and played well. And so they thought, okay, well, maybe we misjudged this. Maybe he can do it. But in the offense that they want to run, that pistol offense, the quarterback has got to be a running threat. Otherwise, you sort of nullify what that offense is all about, which is put pressure on the defense, because can the quarterback run it? And if he can, we got to defend that. And if the guy is a great thrower, we got to defend the pass as well. They don't have that combination.
Well, they have a true freshman that they don't want to throw into the fire right now. Brett Hundley. He has the wheels. He's a freshman from Chandler, Arizona at 6'3", 210, and he's recruited for this offense.
Does he run well enough to run it?
That's why they got it. They feel like it's too much too soon right now. It's 2nd and 6. Over the middle, Fourier hits the deck, and he's held. Yeah. It looked like Lancaster got all tangled up. It's picked off and coming the other way, and down the sideline goes Carrington. There's a flag as Carrington is hit from behind by Marvray and goes down. But it looks like it's coming back.
Yeah, that's Fourier there saying, yeah, it's coming back. They got it.
30 seconds left in the half.
Joseph Fourier, the son of Christian Fourier, who was a tight end in the league for a long time in Seattle and New England.
Pass interference. Defense number 35. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
You see the contact. You be the judge.
So he's matched up with Fourier. I think the feet just got tangled.
Well, he had the arm hooked early and then let go. So he did release him, but was the ball already in the air?
Yeah. He is. That is a big man going down the middle of the field. You don't blame a 6'1" Lancaster.
UCLA has got to hustle up, and they've got to stop the clock. They were not ready to go when they wound the clock. And they're going to stop it now with a timeout. They're coming in to talk it over, the 3 officials. And will it be an official timeout or a UCLA timeout?
But UCLA has to think touchdown here. You asked Rick Neuheisel the other day, what are you going to do at kicker? And he said, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who's healthy, who can do it. They don't want to have to rely on it.
Please reset the game clock to 30 seconds and start the clock on my whistle.
So UCLA is going to have the opportunity now to save a timeout, get up to the line. Here we go on first down. Flushed down is Brio and throws it away. Avoids the loss, and now they'll take 3. They'll take anything with 20 seconds left. And wisely threw it away. Bergen with the heat.
Well, they run a lot of twist stunts up front. Been stunning every play, and they're testing UCLA's pass protection, and it's breaking down. And Brio just doesn't have that type of speed to get outside and buy time.
And you talked about the kicking situation. Jeff Locke, they plan on using tonight. Kip Smith had been hurt. He missed a chip shot in the opener against Houston, though. Smith and then Locke had a field goal and an extra point block last week. It's Jonathan Franklin weaving his way up the middle into the secondary. And inside the 15, that'll stop the clock to the 12. So a good call by UCLA because they do have timeouts to use.
Yeah, and they hit it with the quick hitter there to Franklin.
Why wouldn't they use a timeout here, though? Well, and now it'll be a timeout from the bench. They're coming to the line, but the coaching staff got the timeout.
UCLA.
Well, if you look at the Pac-12 standings, Rick Neuheisel said it's so tough to win on the road, and they got to win on the road. That was last week at Oregon State. So now can they get points on the road to go to the locker room with against one of the most successful programs in the country over the last 2+ seasons. Stanford also won on the road in their conference opener at Arizona 2 weeks ago. But Washington, big win today on the road in Salt Lake City over Utah. Convincing win. Arizona State impressively beginning the season. And how about the conference season last week against USC?
No question. No question. Washington trying to replace Jake Locker up there right now. Big shoes to fill.
Time on the board for UCLA. The first down outside of the 12. Rio, middle of the end zone. Fourier, touchdown UCLA. They were desperate for it, and they got it. Their biggest target on the field.
Well, they finally started using him, Joel. It wasn't until this drive that they started going to him. Threw it right over the head of Max Bergen, who's trying to take away the middle of the field there. But we mentioned Fourier is 6'8". There he is right on the middle. He's just going to run that seam there. Got no help from the safety. Good route away from the safety. And that time, Brijo put it up high for him to go get it. That was the difference in the play.
Locke with the extra point and better elevation. As Rick Neuheisel said to us earlier this week, when he had the extra point blocked in the field goal attempt last week in Corvallis, they were about 5 feet off the ground. So he got it up that time, and the Bruins desperately needed points, and they got it.
You see, watch where this ball's thrown. This is where it has to be thrown. It's basically an alley-oop. Throw it up high, let him stretch out. At 6'8", he's up there well above 8 feet, going up there to get the ball. Really pretty throw. Best throw probably the day by Brijo. Nice high delivery. Put it up where only his guy could get it, and they needed to finish that drive. They needed a touchdown. I can already hear the halftime talk by Neuheisel. If they'd scored on that opening drive, they'd be right in this game right now.
And 7 points off a short field. The turnover was the Chase Thomas forced the fumble. 28-yard field for Stanford. You can't do that against a good team, and Stanford's an exceptional team now. So 8 seconds left in the half. UCLA, an 80-yard drive, 9 plays, taking a little more than 2 minutes off the clock.
Well, Stanford just don't beat themselves, Joel. It's the style of play. It's the quarterback play. They won't beat themselves. They're not going to give it to you. You've got to take it and earn it. Right now, UCLA is a couple plays short here in the first half.
Jeremy Stewart waits for the lock kick, and it's not going to make it to him. And it will be picked up actually by Stewart. It got there. And a snap coming up for Stanford with 3 seconds left in the half. We've got a really full day for you on College Football Saturday. It all starts next Saturday with Mississippi State matching up with UAB. Then we were just talking about Arizona State and their successful start to the conference schedule. They'll face the Utes of Utah. Iowa State, the Baylor Bears. Then on the FX Game of the Week, 13th ranked Texas A&M taking on Texas Tech. Final meeting between the two schools as conference rivals. And then in the nightcap, we're going to have, Brian, we'll be at the Rose Bowl. UCLA facing Washington State, a winner today, beating Colorado on the road. It all starts noon Eastern, as Luck will take a knee, 9 Pacific in high definition. So UCLA coming through when they had to, as a draw within 10 at the break here in Stanford. But still, the Cardinal did everything they wanted to, leading 17-7. And when we come back, we'll take you to our Coors Light studio with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. Pac-12 College Football Saturday continues in Northern California, and 30 minutes in, Stanford, the number 4 team in the nation, with a 10-point advantage in conference play over UCLA. Joel Myers alongside Brian Baldinger, and Andrew Luck as a leader running the system as good as advertised.
Well, he executes, and he gets the team into great positions to make great plays, but in the first half, it was his one-handed catch off a trick play right here that showed his athletic ability, and his ability to keep a drive going. And then you look at him right here, and he throws it to his tight end, Kobe Fleener. He makes it look easy with the one-handed catch. And then they ran for over 100 yards. And Stephon Taylor busted one up the middle. Stanford had the ball 3 times. They put up 17 points. But at the very end, Brijo right here to Joseph Faria got UCLA on the board, 17-7 at half. And our Russell Athletic game summary is
UCLA with 10 first downs. Most of those came on the opening drive of the game and their last drive of the half. UCLA's got to run the football more effectively as well. But the bottom line for UCLA, as we look at the quarterback comparison with our Russell Athletic game summary, Stanford had the ball 3 times in the first half. They scored on all 3 possessions. So now it's up to the UCLA defense to mix things up on Andrew Luck.
Well, you know, we said at the very beginning, and the keys to the game, could UCLA create some turnovers? They thought they needed at least 2. They said that they needed to score 35 points in this game, and they still may. But I think they're going to need some extra possessions in order to do that if they're going to pull off this upset here at Stanford Stadium.
Jeff Locke, the junior from Glendale, Arizona, is going to be kicking it away. So Stanford with the football to start the second half. And the Squib picked up inside the 5. And a lane over the right side, and a nice return coming across the 30 to the 35. As Stanford and Ty Montgomery, their wide receiver, a true freshman from Dallas's St. Mark's School, made the most of the opportunity. Out across the 40 to the 42. And our possession chart, I said 3 for 3. That's exactly what they did. Forget about the last snap. 3 seconds left in the half. So 2 touchdowns, then a field goal. And a short one, a 23-yarder by Williamson, accounting for the 17 points to the Stanford Cardinal. But they were smooth. Very few mistakes for Luck and the system. Now pressure, and Owusu with the bullet. And you talk about that hash mark to the boundary over on this side. That is a long throw for about 9 yards. Impact players in the first half for Stanford.
Well, Stephon Taylor had the big 36-yard run, so 77 yards and 11 carries in the touchdown. And then Chase Thomas on defense was all over the field.
Deep drop. One of the few times we've seen it. Luck's got his tight end wide open. Fleener touchdown, his second of the night.
Well, it was beautifully executed. It was the first deep ball of the night by Luck off play action. Fleener with his second touchdown catch. Here he is. He's going to sneak out of the backfield. Little stutter there, right onto the safety. Got behind him, and really you see the breakaway speed. Perfectly executed, and you think that they spent halftime going, this is what we're going to do here early. We're going to get them deep down the field, and they did.
Williamson for the point after. And Stanford back up by 17. Boy, that took a long time, didn't it? 45 seconds into the third, a 49-yard score. Kobe Fleener's got his second of the night. And Stanford continues to roll, looking for their 12th consecutive victory behind the leadership of Andrew Luck. Pac-12 College Football Saturday brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Buick. See real stories of human achievement on the Buick Human Highlight Reel at ncaa.com/Buick. So Stanford needed 2 snaps to travel 60 yards and 2 throws by Andrew Luck.
Well, they can go 16 plays and make you bleed and go 99 yards, or they can score in 2. Very flexible.
FreeCreditScore.com scoring drive. Those are the clip notes. It's picked up by Josh Smith on the kick at the 5. He's got a little bit of a crease and breaks a tackle across the 30. Close to the 35. Another look at the breakdown in the secondary for UCLA because Fleener was wide open.
Well, here's Fleener right in the middle. He's going to go right down against the safety, Dietrich. Just a 2-receiver route. They got him isolated. They ran a stack route behind each other, and then Fleener just kicked it into gear and ran right by the safety. And the throw was just perfect. It was right on Fleener's fingertips, his 5th touchdown catch of the season. He's off to a great start this year.
So Andrew Luck was 10 of 12 at the break, now 12 for 14. You know, we talk about Robert Griffin of Baylor and how efficient he is and a big play artist. Now Brio, ton of time, and throws it poorly behind the intended target. And that was Jordan James out of the backfield in motion. UCLA's possessions of the first half, gave it up after that long drive to start the game on 4th and goal, failed at the 1, and finally got points on their last possession.
Yeah, and they needed that. They went the 80 yards, and Poirier was a big reason why, catching the touchdown pass and another key conversion in the middle of the field, and they need to get him involved in this offense. It seems to me that Brio likes him. He likes finding him. He's a good target for him.
Shaq Evans splits out up top. On 2nd and 10. Quick out, Rosario. 6 up to the 41. So it's going to bring up another 3rd down in front of the cornerback. He pulled it off on Terrence Brown, but good coverage just the same.
It was good coverage, but the throw was good. I mean, when Brio relaxes and just fires the ball and trusts himself, the ball gets to the right spot. He's missed a lot of throws tonight, but that throw is an example of what he can do.
Well, last week, UCLA was getting 5 and 6, 6 and 7 to crack on first down on the ground. That has not been the case against the Stanford front 7. So they're facing another 3rd down. Bringing Josh Smith in the slot next to Rosario. Bring an extra rusher. Man, it's thrown over the head of Smith as it's grabbed by the tight end. Harkey's got his first catch of the game, and whether or not it was for him, it worked.
Exactly, because I don't think it was intended for Harkey. I think it was intended for Josh Smith. But you know what? At this point, when you're getting hit like that, maybe you're a little bit off balance, so maybe it's good that the receiver was right behind him. And I think the fact that he got hit allowed that ball to actually get completed.
Actually, it looked like Harkey was the target, though, on that replay. Hey, I don't know if he saw Smith because he was staring at Harkey most of the way. Jonathan Franklin dashes up the middle into the secondary. Needs another block, hits it, and then is racked up going across the 25. And a good arm tackle just to throw him off balance at about the 22. Michael Thomas made a big play in the open field. Otherwise, he may go in.
Yeah, you know, and this is the second split that they've gotten up here. So he beats the blitz on the outside, but excellent block right in the middle.
It's a 28-yard run after he had a 21-yard run at the very end of the first half. Coleman takes over now in the backfield. First down, UCLA. Can they come back with an answer? And it's Brio with a nice zone read. Good run on first down inside the 20 to the 17. Different look for UCLA that time. The game plan for UCLA and revisiting those points we talked about earlier.
Well, we said that they've got to make some big plays. The quarterback has to play great. He's been okay. He had the one turnover. He had the touchdown catch. But the takeaways were going to be important. And they were supposed to force them. They haven't been able to take the ball away and create any negative plays. And then they had to score 35 to win. Right now, they're trying to get their second score.
Drive started back at their 35. On a second down, here comes the heat. Brio eludes the pressure effectively inside the 15, short of the first down, but it looked like a potential sack, and he made the most of the situation. Thomas gets him.
The pocket was collapsing on Brio, and he didn't panic that time. He didn't throw the ball into coverage. So you can see just a 4-man rush. They bring the green dog. That means if the back was staying in, the linebacker that's covering him comes on it. So they actually add 5 guys into that rush, setting up this 3rd and short.
UCLA 4 of 7 on their 3rd down tries. They'll stay with the big back in there, Coleman. When I say big, he's 240 pounds. Coleman belted from the side, and what a play by Lancaster, who's in there for Shane Scove. Man, did he time it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Joel. He timed the snap count, so he hits this right on the run, coming off the bottom of the screen here, 35. Look at that, bam. Just as Franklin got the ball, he took him off his feet.
Really helps when nobody touches it.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's but the art, the art of a good blitz is timing and getting that jump like he did, anticipating that play.
Now UCLA brings Jordan James into the backfield with Coleman. Little jumbo look for them. And looking to throw it. It's Fourier inside the 10. Hurdles the man at the 5. Touchdown UCLA. Second of the night for Joseph Fourier. So the Bruins do respond on a long drive of their own.
And that's the guy that they have to get involved. That's his first catch on this drive. Hurdles the defender. Great athletic ability on the outside. You know, at 6'8". You know, this is a basketball move right here. Bam. That's going to make some highlight reels. Nice little hurdle stretch there. Made it look easy. Second touchdown for Fourier. And it keeps UCLA in the game.
Striking distance, without a doubt. A lot of game left. Low line drive, no good. We talked about the problems with their kicking game, and it comes up once again. Disbelief for Rick Neuheisel. So UCLA, that'll take a little starch out of it. 4.5 into the third, gets into the end zone. Can't get conversion, though, and trails by 11.
Coors Light says don't get flagged for breaking the law. It's a cold, hard fact. 21 means 21. So keep yourself and your friends in the game.
Welcome back to Palo Alto on a magnificent night up in the Bay Area. Kickoff, it was 65 degrees. Good throw that time. Brijo.
Yeah. Well, the throw beats Lancaster, and then just the hurdle on the outside over Sermons was just pure athletic ability.
Kickoff from Locke, much better than the extra point. Asks about 8 yards into the end zone. And Stanford, long field this time. Not like the last time to start the second half when they had it at their own 40. So Joseph Fourier, 6'8", with his second touchdown of the night. He has scored in 5 of their last 7 games. He did not make a catch last week against Oregon State. You have to get playmakers touches.
It's inexplicable for him not to touch the ball. We've seen him down the middle of the field. We've seen him with the ball thrown high. And then we've seen him on the perimeter make a play on his own. So that's a guy that you got to get the ball to, and it's very easy to get him on matchups.
Andrew Luck. And the offensive unit is Stephon Taylor in the backfield behind Hewitt. Now Luck looking to put it up a little bit more. Almost hit from behind. It's Hewitt, who's hit but not wrapped by Zumwalt. Decent yardage on first down as we have a Coors Light game break with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. Guys.
Houston Nutt and Ole Miss in a dogfight in Fresno. Jeff Scott's the TD. Can Houston and crew get out of Fresno with the W? 35-28 late in the fourth quarter. Guys.
Thanks, Kevin. That is the key. A tough place to play in Fresno. But, boy, Keenum and the UCLA fans know very well. He's healthy, and he's one of the real solid quarterbacks in the nation. An injured Bruin down behind the play, back at the 10.
I can't see who it is with all the bodies. He actually runs into his own man.
Yeah, friendly fire, unfortunately.
That'll happen sometimes. Both guys turning the corner like that, both going for Andrew Luck. One of the few opportunities they thought they could have to get to Luck, and they just collided into each other. Never want to speculate what the injury might be.
Take a timeout. As, let's see, with Justin Edison. And we'll cross our fingers for the senior for the Bruins when we come back.
Help you succeed.
Good news back in Palo Alto. Justin Edison, the tackle for the Bruins, up on his own. Wobbly, of course, but over to the UCLA bench. On second down, big push on the outside in front of Hester. It's complete as it goes to Griff Whaley and close to the first down.
Well, here's Edison on that play that he got hurt on. He got hurt by his own man coming around the corner. That's Holmes. Damian Holmes comes around going for Luck's arm. He's just focused on that arm trying to get the ball out. Trying to get one of those turnovers that they so desperately need. And in so doing, ran right into Edison.
So the medical staff on the UCLA bench looking at Justin Edison, the senior from Verbum High School in Los Angeles. It is a first down. Nose of the football across the 30. Luck wants to throw. Different mindset. And It's a little dump off. What a shot they apply to Jeremy Stewart. Jim Knox.
Joel, right now looks like Justin Edison will be okay. The trainers are asking him a few questions. They were checking out his neck, but he seems like he's doing fine. He could go back in, guys.
All right, thank you, Jim. It really looks like early here in the second half, Stanford's approach has changed.
They got the deep ball on the second play of the third quarter to Fleener. And that was one that they had in their back pocket. They dialed it up. But I think they need to keep this defense off the field, go to more ball control, and keep them resting.
They're going to run it with Stewart. And they're going to look at about a 3rd and 3. When we talk about running a system, man, Andrew Luck is so proficient at what they're doing.
Well, today it's been the short passing game. I mean, 12 of his 15 completions here have been 0 to 10 yards. Just 2 in that 11 to 19 range, and then the one deep ball to Fleener for the touchdown. So really it's been short, controlled passes by Stanford, trying to keep ball control, keep the defense off the field.
He sets up all 3 tight ends on the same side, on the wide side of the field. On 3rd and 3, they're 5 of 7 on their 3rd downs. And deflected, not intercepted. Incomplete, but the stop is just as important for UCLA. They'd love a short field, but this defense needs some stops.
Well, that ball right there got tipped in the middle of the field. Now, the one interception that Andrew Luck has this year was against Duke. It was a tip ball much like that. That was a golden opportunity for UCLA to come up with that tip ball. Would have put them in great field position here.
It is the first punt of the game for David Green of Stanford, a senior from Southern California, from Mission Viejo. Wobbles one over to the near side. And picked up by Taylor Embry as he's put down very quickly across the 25 at the 27. Well, tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday has the undefeated Lions, one of the great stories in the NFL. The dream season will continue. They're on the road taking to the Cowboys. Giants trying to pick up their 3rd straight win, matching up with the Cardinals. It all starts tomorrow with the Built for Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check for the games in your area.
Detroit Lions undefeated, going down to Dallas. Tony Romo coming off that big win with the broken rib on Monday night against the Redskins.
Both teams coming from behind.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, and especially on the road in Minnesota for Matthew Stafford and what they did when they were down by 17-0 at Minnesota. Max Bergen shaken up, and they use a lot of starters. And we talked to David Shaw about that. He says you'll see a number of starters on specials.
Yeah. Well, he wants his best players out there. They're there to win these games and get themselves into the running for the national championship, and they're not putting anybody out there right now that's not qualified.
UCLA got a couple of nice runs from Franklin. On the last drive, would have continued. Play fake sets him up for Embry. Makes the first miss, takes a shot, but gets up to the 35 for a gain of 8 on 1st down. He's brought down by Tarpley. 1st and 10 line brought to you by Russell Athletic. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox in Palo Alto on a classic autumn evening for football. Stanford and UCLA both 1-0 in Pac-12 play. The North against the South Division. And now UCLA in a 2nd and short. It's Brio reading it perfectly on that zone option. Across the 45, is there a shift in momentum now for UCLA?
It looks like Breho's just feeling better right now. That was a perfect read, the best read and run of him tonight. You're going to see just the play fake here to Franklin inside. Now, he gets that end crashing on the outside like he did, and he pulls it down, and then he takes off with it. Very defined read that time as Blake Luders came in, ran right by him, and I think right now they got the stop on defense. They got the touchdown last series. They got to make their move right here.
It's a 1st down, close to their own 47. Underneath, it's in and out of the hands of the tight end Harkey. Well timed on the hit. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
That was Michael Thomas coming from the safety position, and you said well timed, and that's exactly what it was. And it's not easy for those safeties to time it. You get a big body like Harkey in the middle of the field. I mean, you want to get there too early. You can have a pass interference, so you got to time it up right. And that's what those safeties do here at Stanford. They're very active. They play the ball in the air very well.
Brio getting the play from the sideline. Inside of 7 left in the third. On the long count, Brio never had a chance. Good penetration off the edge. In particular, Stevens and Masafilo.
They took it all away. They took the dive fake away. Then they took the run on the outside by Brio away. So they were ready for it. You know, they got him on the play before, the big run by Brio, and now they get a negative play, and now it puts UCLA in a tough situation.
On a 3rd and long, watch number 8. He's back on the field. Man, he's made the big play so far for UCLA, Joseph Fourier. Bruins have hit half of their 3rd down tries tonight. They are 4 of 8. Another long count, little twist, and they get to Brio again. It's only a 4-man rush. It's not like there's extra people coming. Ben Gardner got to Brio.
Yeah, just a straight, quick 4-man rush, and it's a shame because they had the tight end. But here he is right at the bottom. Good takeoff. He gets to the middle there. They're just beating him up front.
It looked like the center was trying to recover on that play. Locke gets into it. Drew Terrell waits back at the 10. Now, collision course and a block in the back, I believe, from our view up here. Let's see if it is a flag against Stanford.
Hey, opportunity for greatness now.
During the return, illegal block in the back, above the waist, number 15 of the return team. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
So they take it from the 20 back to about the 10. Our Coors Light freeze cam now. Andrew Luck with a gadget play in the 1st half. And Drew Terrell finding him with a little stickum on that hand.
That's beautiful. There's some Kodak moments right there. Stickum.
So Andrew Luck on the receiving end. They'll put it at the 10. 1st down, Luck and Stanford. Delay. Man, they couldn't get out of the backfield that time. Better play defensively in the front 7 for UCLA. Ebenesa. Well, the first one on the stop of Stephon Taylor. So UCLA has dropped 2 straight to Stanford. Before that, it was a 5-game winning streak. But UCLA, after that first drive, I think they've settled in a little bit better now in the 2nd half. And I bring that up because Rick Neuhauser told us they were embarrassed at home last year. 35-0. Luck out of the gun on 2nd and long. Little cross for Griff Whalen. It's complete to the 15.
Easy completions for Luck. I mean, just spread them out that time. Looking for the one-on-ones. Griff Whalen won it. Not a lot of catches by the wide receivers, Owusu or Whalen, on the outside tonight. Most of them by the tight ends. And they're bigger targets. And Fleener runs as well as any tight end in the country.
Stanford has had some long drives tonight. I'm talking about 8+ minute drives. UCLA playing catch-up. Can't afford that now. On 3rd down. And it's punched away over the middle. What timing by Riley, because they tried to get it to the big tight end. We've talked about Toilolo. They have not been able to get him the ball at 6'8".
Well, that's their version of Fourier in the middle of the field. Here he is. He's going to be working right down the middle. Nice play by the safety. He'd given up the touchdown to Fleener, but this time he played the ball perfectly in the air. That's the 2nd straight stop by UCLA's defense. And there is a shift here. Defense is playing better.
David Green with another punt. He didn't see the field in the 1st half. Tried to get UCLA on a long count. And a good punt. It'll be Taylor Embry. And he puts the ball on the ground. Stanford after it. Looks like they'll get it, and they do. It's Ty Montgomery. UCLA kills themselves in the 1st half of the turnover, and they do it as well. There's a flag down on the field, but they do it as well here early in the 2nd half.
Ball security, just so important in games like this where teams are trying to get possession. Here's Embry. Perfectly
Sideline
timed.
interference. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the succeeding spot. First down.
Right now, UCLA, with mistakes, can't get out of their own way because they were about to get the ball at the midfield stripe.
Well, it's a great play here by Montgomery because Embry right there looks like he flinched just a little bit, anticipating the hit. But really, he's got the protection. You know, all he needs to do is go fair catch and just concentrate on the ball. He doesn't have to do anything else in that situation.
The fair catch would have been key because he did not put his hand
right.
up.
No, he didn't have to get the protection.
Now, he is walked ready for a quick strike. Here comes the heat. He's going to run. And we talk with mobility, shoved out of bounds at about the 30 for a gain of 5. A guy that's that big can certainly motor, can't he?
He's got great speed. I mean, you know, if you can run a 4.6 40 the way Luck can, you can get yourself out of harm's way quite a bit. He's not afraid of contact either. That time he just outran the flank, got to the sideline pretty clean.
Getting up to the line in a hurry. Now they go back to the jumbo look. Counter action for Stephon Taylor. Man takes a pop as Riley was over there. Also in the secondary. Got help on the play from Larimore. Man, it's going to bring up another key third down for the UCLA defense.
Well, they've been good in the last two. And the reason why is because the coverage has been good. They played the ball in the air well. This is huge. After the turnover, the defense, they're being asked to step up again and make a stop. And this is a big part of this game right here if they can come up with another stop.
Andrew Luck, 16 of 20, 164 yards passing. He needs a little more than 3, almost 4. Out of the gun. Finds Terrell. He's got a first down. He goes to the junior from Chandler, Arizona.
They had two receivers that ran slants, so they took the coverage with it and left Terrell wide open underneath. So he's on the outside. He's just running a little angle route. Takes it outside. Then cuts inside. The two other guys inside, they took all the coverage with them. Nice little hole there. Andrew Luck read it perfectly.
They get into the end zone. It's 14 points off short fields and turnovers. Good teams capitalize on mistakes, and that's what Stanford, Wildcat, by the way, capitalize on mistakes. It's going to be Gaffney out of the Wildcat. And untouched. Touchdown, Stanford.
That's just the Wildcat they were working at in practice yesterday with Andrew Luck out at wide receiver. He comes in there, and he's just the running back that we've seen. Here's Luck out here. Here it is right there, little play action fake underneath. Look at his hole open, wide open. Get a better running ball carrier with the ball in his hands, like Gaffney. Split him right up the middle.
Williamson with the extra point. Man, a lot of breathing room now for the Stanford Cardinal off another UCLA turnover.
Car insurance.
Taylor Embry put it on the ground. Ty Montgomery, the one who forced it, recovered it and makes the big play as Stanford travels a short field, 34 yards. Well, this college football season, Fox Sports proud to support Dream Foundation. We're making dreams come true for adults facing a life-threatening illness. There is no greater time to help those in need than when time is limited. Text DREAM to 41518 to donate $10 and turn dreams into lasting memories.
Well, dreams into lasting memories and turnovers into touchdowns, and that's the story here with Stanford tonight.
Yeah, 14 of their 31 points off a 34-yard field and a 28-yard field off UCLA giveaways. Give Stanford credit. Josh Smith picking it up at the 4. Got a lane over to the right side. Man, oh man, that it will be a penalty as he's grabbed from behind by Gaffney, who just scored the touchdown.
And you saw Gaffney, good sportsmanship there, just kind of tapped him, wasn't intentional, but he did wrap him around the neck.
Personal foul. Kicking team, number 25. Horse collar tackle. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
It looked like he got the cornrows.
Well,
Either way,
that's the hair.
it works.
Yeah, but that's what he got. That's not a horse collar. That's just tackling by any means necessary right there. The hair is part of the uniform. The horse collar means the hand goes inside the shoulder pad and pulls him backwards.
You and I would never have that problem.
No.
From the 44, and it's a first down for UCLA in a deep hole now. Still 2:35 left in the third. Going down to a knee to make the catch is Nelson Rosario. Boy, Josh Smith had a free run into the secondary, or check that. It was actually Carroll who had a free run in the secondary, but it was already determined where it was going. Randall Carroll. So the frustration continues for Rick Neuheisel and UCLA.
Had mistakes. The mistakes are just adding up against a team that doesn't seem to make very many.
Well, they don't beat themselves.
No.
Smart schools, smart student athletes. Franklin wrapped on 2nd and 4. Down to the 48. Jim Knox.
Joel, I tell you what, this offensive line of Stanford down here on the sidelines is a well-oiled machine. These guys averaging a little over 300 pounds. Mabry, Martin, and company, they came off the field and said, we got to keep opening those holes. Baldy, you'd love these guys. You'd fit in perfectly. They're right around your weight size. They're perfect. They eat big like you.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time at the training table like me. I mean, start off with 6 pieces of blueberry pie and go from there.
UCLA trying to keep the drive alive. And Franklin does that. A thrust inside the 45, down to the 42. Jonathan Franklin. That'll stop the clock momentarily.
And it's time right now for the UCLA offensive line to try to take control here. They need to score. They need a touchdown here to stay in this game. And the guys up front, they've been run blocking okay. Their pass protection has got to get better for Breho.
Breho in trouble. Spun away from the pressure. Now Rosario, and you talked about it, making yards after the catch and yards after contact, as it was an open field tackle by Terrence Brown.
Yeah, well, that's, Rosario's game isn't to be a burner when the ball's in his hands. He's a big target. Nice job by Breho of avoiding Chase Thomas on the outside, but that's where Rosario kind of struggles right here. All right, ball's in. Now what can I do with the ball in my hand? Can I make a guy miss?
Fourier's back in the game on the hip of the left tackle. They need a big play in a hurry. And it's Breho backpedaling inside the 35. Still coming up short of the first down. And that'll most likely be our final snap of the third. Tripped up by Thomas.
You mentioned Fourier. He got caught up in the middle of that, and somebody just tattooed him right in the middle of the chest. He went down hard. He's trying to get out of the way.
Like one of those trees in Yosemite. You hear it up here. That will be the final play of the third here in Palo Alto. And Stanford taking advantage of UCLA mistakes and also doing what they have to do offensively. So the leadership and the execution led by Andrew Luck as the 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal on top through 3, 31-13. And you're watching Pac-12 College Football Saturday presented by KFC. It's an 18-point lead for the Stanford Cardinal as we start the final 15 minutes of regulation. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox in Palo Alto. And Stanford very methodically taking care of UCLA over the first 45 minutes of football. Now UCLA first snap of the 4th, 3rd and a yard. They're 5 of 10 of the 3rd down tries. And it's going to be Coleman. He just blasts his way. Big kid at 240 inside the 30 down to the 29.
Good tough back right there by Coleman. Doesn't go down on contact. Rides it. They needed the first down. They gave it to the horse. That was his job on that play. Well blocked up front, too.
He'll sit down. Jonathan Franklin back into the game. More of a home run threat for UCLA. UCLA down by 18. They've got to maximize, and each possession has to be fairly short. Franklin, a little stutter step at the line inside the 15 and dropped. It looked like if he makes that man miss, Delano Howell, he's in.
He looked like he froze. I mean, an excellent job by Capella, the left guard. Now here it is. You got to make one guy miss. Don't stop. Don't stop right there as Howell comes. Either you juke him or you just keep going. That was a nice break over the left side there. They have their weak side offensive line open up that hole. Thought Franklin had a great shot of finishing that run.
Saw the numbers on the ground for UCLA, and they did that well last year. It's a little jet action. Jordan James. He's popped inside the 10 at about the 7. He gets 3.
That Jordan James had to bubble a little bit because of the penetration by Stanford, but he is so fast out there on the perimeter. You almost feel like, where is he in the screen game or the bubble screen game? Just getting him out in the perimeter, making some people miss, because his speed is different than everybody else's there at UCLA here as far as their skilled positions are concerned.
Well, the key, getting touches to those playmakers. It's 2nd and goal outside of the 7. Now Josh Smith asking for it. He's got it at the 5 and takes a shot. He's in. He paid for it. Touchdown UCLA.
Those safeties from Stanford can hit.
Delano Howell.
Yeah, knocked his helmet off. But great finish on the outside by Smith. Underneath handoff here. Now look, he's got to make a couple of moves or miss. Some good blocking on the perimeter. And the nice finish here. Ooh, look at that.
Whiplash.
That is a deep clear. Don't try that at home.
Yeah, Embry is the holder. And let's see if Locke can convert. He missed the last one. It was low and wide. 13:21 left in the 4th. A lot of time. Yeah, will it be a false start?
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. Remains the try for point.
It's their starting tight end working on specials.
Let's face it, that is not a smooth operation right now.
Now there's, and Rick Newhassel was very blunt on the phone with us earlier this week. I said, Rick, who is it? Smith, Locke. He goes, your guess is as good as mine the way things have been going. Smith got hurt early, but both guys have been inconsistent so far, and that was the story through fall camp. Now, it'll be a 25-yard extra point try. And he pulled it.
I mean, any other scores, they just got to go for 2. They can't line up without a penalty. They can't line up without a miss.
It is hard to believe. 31-19. So 2 wasted on extra point tries for UCLA. UCLA draws within 12 of the touchdown run by Josh Smith, 31-19. Well, tonight's game being shown on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting for the United States Armed Forces in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. We're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, Japan. We welcome all of you and thank you for the opportunity. Our freedom here in Palo Alto as you protect us and enable us to bring it your way. And we talked to an incredible young man yesterday about it, who we're going to hear from in just a moment. Onside kick, Locke pooches it. The run, UCLA after it, but I believe Stanford gets it at the 40 and they cover it well. Now, we talked to Andrew Luck about AFN and experiences for him with AFN growing up.
First, obviously you want to thank all the troops overseas and everybody associated with them for, allowing us to play, play a game, in safety in this great country. And, our team gives thanks to that every week. And also, growing up overseas, I lived over there for about 9 years. So, I remember waking up and watching Penn State, Ohio State on the Armed Force networks, and then the NFL game of the week the next day. So a lot of great memories of the AFN.
Well put by a real composed young man. That's Whalen. Man, he's got a first down on a bullet from Andrew Luck. And when we talked to the coaching staff about Andrew Luck, who you just heard from, they said it is so easy for us because he's got more drive and more energy than anybody. And during practice, David Shaw said he wants to play game speed in practice.
Well, that's what David Shaw has challenged him at. Practice like it's a game. Let's get the most out of it. Nobody puts more on a quarterback than they do Andrew Luck in this system to be able to call the right play at the line of scrimmage.
Hewitt in the backfield in front of Wilkerson. It's Wilkerson. Man, it looked like he tripped over the back of Hewitt's legs. Still, decent yardage on first down, just about 4. 1st and 10 line brought to you by Russell Athletic. We've got 12.5 minutes left. Can UCLA get a stop? Right now, they're only about 10 yards away from field goal territory. Talking about Stanford to go up. Now, working his way out of the backfield, Stephon Taylor, their lead back. And that little lunge brings him very close to a first down.
Joe, I want you to watch this tight end, Levine Toilolo. Here he is right here. Watch him take this end and lift him and drive him inside and open up this hole here on the outside for Taylor. Watch number 11. Flips him inside, turns him. Now look at that hole open up. These tight ends, that Toilolo is 6'8", but he gets underneath guys, he can bend, Joel. He can bend his knees. It's a game of leverage. He comes up and he can turn with his guys at the line of scrimmage, opening up holes like that.
Set it up for Stephon Taylor on 3rd and a yard. And Taylor takes it down to the 30. So the drive continues for Stanford. It's an old school mentality that started, and David Shaw was very blunt in our meeting yesterday. He goes, you got to remember, Jim Harbaugh, he's a coach's son, I'm a coach's son. Yeah. We have the same blue-collar mentality. It's old school. Mm-hmm. We really like running the football. And he talked about when he was a wide receiver here, he said, we had a great offensive line. He said, touchdown Tommy Vardell was the back. And boy, did he get into the end zone. It's Taylor breaking tackles into the secondary. 1st and goal, Stanford inside the 10.
See what he's doing there? He's breaking arm tackles. That's what happens when you lean on any defense in the running game as much as they do. Again, here's the 2 tight ends, Ertz and Toilolo on the end. They seal the end of the line of scrimmage. He gets to a clean out. A broken tackle, a broken tackle. 3 broken tackles right there gets Taylor the first down.
It's Andrew Luck, naked on the edge. And an open field tackle that time. Puts him down close to the 7-yard line. Abbott came up big for UCLA.
Now, look, Luck, if he wanted to, he could run for 1,000 yards. If he wanted to run the pistol formation, he could probably be as good as anybody in this country.
He's that athletic with that kind of size. Runner-up for the Heisman last year. Off the play fake. And down to the 1. He's just short on the reception by Terrell. Took a pop from Larimore.
Terrell's
still he's held on to the football. He's given them a little bit of everything tonight, and he threw, don't forget, that pass to Andrew Luck earlier.
Going to try to quick snap him. UCLA's not ready.
It'll be Taylor easily into the end zone. Untouched. Touchdown, Stanford. They have responded every time UCLA has threatened.
Good. UCLA is not really set, but watch just a power formation. 2 tight ends, a back, what we call 21 personnel. Look at that hole open up. Really, they've not even gotten touched.
Williamson for the point after. Well, the engine room, as they call it, is definitely cooking tonight on both sides of the line with flags at the end of the play. But the engine room, the linemen, and Stanford has definitely done a number on UCLA in the trenches tonight.
This is their game plan. This is what it is every week. Power football, tight end based, run first offense. Let's wear them down. We get to the 4th quarter. The 4th quarter is ours. Perfectly executed tonight.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 77 of the kicking team. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So Stanford doubles up UCLA right now at 38-19 as we have 10:22 remaining in Palo Alto. Just about 5 minutes gone in the fourth. The Stanford scores once again. Time for our Sprint Unlimited update as we feature, we talked about it, these two teams with exceptional tight ends.
Excellent. I mean, Fleener on one side with Poirier on the other side. Been quite an exhibition by two really talented tight ends that have size, they have speed, they got great hands. Poirier here. Watch out. Get out of the way. Nice little high hurdle into the end zone. 4 touchdowns by the two big tight ends on each side.
15-yard penalty on unsportsmanlike, a personal foul. Andrew Luck engineering another real clean, efficient drive. And it's been rare when he's waggled out of the pocket at all on that naked bootleg where he tried to take it over there.
Yeah, it was a good call though, because they do a lot of misdirection. Your eyes have got to be in the right place all the time against this team with all the play action they do.
It'll be picked up by Coleman inside the 20. Man, falling down. He's down to the 27. And we talked about Andrew Luck, the runner-up to Cam Newton last year. As we look at our Heisman watch, man, the guys that had another big day for Robert Griffin. They may not be flashy numbers for Andrew Luck, but boy, they're complete. And his leadership means so much to this team. Moore of Boise State, Robinson. They didn't need a lot from him in the second half today after they pounded Minnesota 58-0. Lattimore of South Carolina.
Well, but if you look at Griffin, you look at Lattimore, those teams lost today. And so you look at Andrew Luck, all they do is continue to win. And I think you have to factor that in, the style of play, what they ask him to do, the efficiency that they play with. Here they are in the fourth quarter with 38 up there already against, a good opponent in UCLA. The numbers are not going to compare with Robert Griffin at the end of the season. But let's just see how many wins they have and if they're playing for a championship.
Little guy that doesn't do a lot of blocking. He brings it back. Josh Smith. Well, it went to Coleman, so he was trying to apply a block, and he got the worst of it.
Yeah. Smith with the touchdown run in the last series. UCLA struggling to try to match scores as Stanford keeps the pressure on. And that's what Brelo's challenge is on this drive.
And even on special teams, it doesn't work that time. Stanford kicking from their own 15. UCLA with the ball only at the 27. Brelo looking to go to Rosario once again. There is a flag, though, in the offensive backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 44.
That's the outside backer, Chase Thomas.
Chase Thomas, the captain. Take a look. Hard-nosed player now. Here's Chase down here. Gets off the block and continues on, and probably just looked like he tried to pull up a little bit here, but you see a reaction like that of the quarterback.
Well, they also, while we were watching that, there's a motion call against UCLA. So Breho takes that kind of shot.
He doesn't want to trade that.
And no relief inside because they're offsetting penalties.
To Breho's credit, though, he stayed in there. He took the hit. He delivered the ball on the outside to Rosario. So he's got that kind of toughness to stay in there and do that.
10 minutes remaining. Stanford looks for the third consecutive win over UCLA. Breho on a little stop route, and it's there for Rosario at about the 35.
Now what they've done to Rosario, there's Batamosi there on that tackle. They've tackled the catch. I mean, Rosario has a lot of catches tonight, but he's got nothing after the catch. So excellent right there at not allowing anything extra after he catches.
And as we saw in the Arizona matchup with Stanford, when Arizona completed all those balls in a row to start the game, but they're not going to let you throw it over their head. Rosario turns around in time as he's dragged down very quickly by Batamosi.
But those throws to the outside, first down, they stop the clock. You'll take those throws. They'll work on a guy like Batamosi who doesn't have all that size. He's a good size corner, but certainly got the height advantage.
Little screen action for Jonathan Franklin. Man, good play underneath by Batamosi once again because he eluded the lineman completely.
Well, they're good. That's a good tackling secondary. That's 3 straight tackles in a row by Batamosi.
Well, 3 senior starters.
Yeah.
And that experience pays off once again. It'll be second and about 3. UCLA's ground game, if anything, has not lived up to expectations, and it's not a huge front seven for Stanford. Long throw high and over the head of Randall Carroll. So another third down coming up. Stops the clock with 8:37 to play. The running game could not set up the passing game, and then the turnovers and the deep deficit and the game plan out the window.
Now that game plan was to run it, control it, but they fell behind 14-0 very quickly.
And they only had 44 yards rushing in the first half, and 21 of those came from Franklin on that final drive. Third and about 3, and a little bit of a head start for Ben Gardner.
It's against Stanford. It gives UCLA the first down.
Offside. Defense, number 49. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Look at Gardner taps himself on the head. Going to jump right into that gap. Like, that's very few mental mistakes by any of the Cardinals tonight. David Shaw preaches that, and they execute it.
Yeah, that's really the only minus for Stanford tonight. More penalties than UCLA. Going for Carroll. Man, it's underthrown. Good coverage, though. Exceptional coverage by Terrence Brown.
No question. Step for step on the outside. There's Brown right here. They're going to get him on a go route. A little blitz. Here comes Carroll. He's got a little burst now, but that ball was underthrown. You lay it out there and let Carroll go get it, you got a chance.
Stanford about to beat UCLA for the third consecutive time, for the first time since they had a 5-game run way back in the late 20s and early 30s. It's a long time ago. UCLA had beaten them 5 consecutive times before this, but it's turned around at Stanford. It's up and off the fingertips of Shaq Evans.
Stanford is not afraid to come after Breho to force those kind of throws. Lancaster came. You remember now, they lost their leader on defense, Shane Scove, last weekend. So they're coming with Lancaster right here, right up the middle. Gets a hit on Breho, gets there, affects that throw.
Now 3rd and 10. It's a 10-point game at the half. 17-7, but it's gotten away. Breho with time. Man, well times. It's knocked away a little behind Rosario. A.J. Tarpley, and check that. Over on the coverage, it was Batamosi again, who's been very active.
Very good series by the senior Batamosi out there. A lot of work, good tackling, excellent job in the passing game here. Watch this play. Excellent timing right there, getting that ball out of Rosario's hands. It was a well-thrown ball. And it's not easy to defend guys that are 6'5", got those big, wide bodies like that. The timing was great.
So 4th down for UCLA. Need 10. Middle of the field, Fourier separated. Howell may have gotten the worst of that one, and he was the one who created the miss by UCLA.
What a great series by the whole secondary. We saw plays by everybody on that last drive, and right there, Delano Howell, as big a hit as he's had tonight.
So the senior-dominated secondary comes through for the Stanford Cardinal as they are in the driver's seat with 8:19 to play.
Now,
Pac-12 College Football Saturday presented by KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good. Brought to you in part by Russell Athletic, who reminds you that together we are. And by Dr. Pepper, giving away over $1 million in tuition. Go to drpepper.com for all the details. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox in Palo Alto for the final 8+. Well, with the missed extra points, I think Rick Neuheisel needs to put an ad in the Daily Bruin or even the LA Times. That's what Jude Jones did down in Dallas Morning News, and he got himself a kicker. Because UCLA definitely needs that component. It's going to be some counter action and trying to make a miss out of the backfield. It is Anthony Wilkerson. He is was dropped after a short gain, no gain at all. They say he's put down at the 41, the original line. Jim Knox, what's going on?
Joel, I'll tell you what, Delano Howell, number 26, right behind me. He's a hitting machine. You know, on the defensive goal stand down there when he hit one of the UCLA Bruins going in the end zone, lost a contact, but then on the play right there, in that key third down situation, got woozy, came to the sideline. They checked out his shoulder. He's telling the coaches he's okay. He's ready to get back in there and hit someone else.
Don't know if they need him anymore tonight. Little play fake, and it goes to the guy they used as the decoy, Ryan Hewitt. Good yardage on 2nd and 10. He gets about 8.
You know, that Delano Howell was a wide receiver before last year. They switched him to safety because he was such a physical player receiver. And sometimes, you know, players find their way in different positions. Sometimes you hit it when you make a switch at a position and they take to it. That Delano Howell, I think, is a natural safety. And I think the fact that he was a receiver, I think he understands when the ball's in the air how to play it a little bit better.
The experience, knowing routes, as you mentioned. Mike in the fullback sets up over to the left side. It's headed that way with Wilkerson. Man, he's right at the marker. I believe he's got enough for the first down. Brought down by Donovan Carter. It'll be a first down for Stanford. They just want to run out the clock now inside of 7 left to play. So the frustration. And Rick Neuheisel going up against the guy. And David Shaw told us, he said, you know, when Rick and I were coaches under Brian Billick at Baltimore, he said, I knew Rick wanted to coach in college again.
Yeah.
And he goes, isn't it nice the way things turned out? We both got jobs that we really did want.
And he wanted this job. He wanted this UCLA job. And it worked out for him.
The 2 alums back where they played their college ball. It's a nice story. Will it transpire that way in the long run for both? Wilkerson is hammering straight ahead down to the 47. It's the first year for David Shaw, of course. The 4th for Rick Neuheisel.
Well, David Shaw is, you know, a great benefactor of what Jim Harbaugh built here. The tight ends, the power running game. They're a very difficult team to prepare for because nobody plays football in college football with tight ends, a fullback, a power running game first. It's very difficult to assimilate in practice. You know, Rick Neuheisel said, well, we played Texas. They had 2 backs, but they didn't have the tight ends and run the power plays that Stanford runs.
Little trap action. You talked about DeCastro. Didn't work as much that time at the 45. And when we were sitting with David yesterday and I said to him, who do you, because you get such a great student athlete here, and the quality of the kids you come up with, who do you recruit against? And he goes, hometown team.
Yeah.
He goes, if it's a great player out of Atlanta, Georgia wants him. Mm-hmm. So we're now competing against the hometown team everywhere we go.
They go national. They go national. I mean, obviously Andrew Luck out of Houston, quite a few Texans, but players out of Pennsylvania, out of Florida, really nationwide. Because it's such a great school. They can get the best student athletes in any state.
It'll be a 3rd and about 6. Stewart now in the backfield. And well-developed screen, first down. Only needed 6, got 7. Got a wide receiver for the Stanford Cardinal. That was David Shaw. And Rick Neuheisel, I was there when Rick Neuheisel, a former walk-on, was the MVP. New Year's Day in a 45-9 win over Illinois in the Rose Bowl.
And there they are with their Baltimore Raven gears in 2005, assistants under Brian Billick. Talked to Coach Billick about both of them this week. And, you know, he said Rick did a great job with his young quarterback, Kyle Bowler, at that time. Shaw was just so smart.
Bouncing outside. It's Anthony Wilkerson for another first down. They really do like misdirection and counters.
Oh, I'm telling you, it will test your eye control because you get all these bodies going one way, they'll come back the other way. We've seen an offense here that by nature, because they run it more than they throw it, you think conservative. But here they are with 38 in the 4th quarter, averaging over 40 a game this season. They can put up big numbers because the quarterback constantly converts 3rd downs and can make big plays at any point of the game.
Gaffney is setting up a tailback. They're deep at that position. Owusu, their best wide receiver, really hasn't been much of a factor tonight. He catches that one. He had a catch early in the game, but we talked about behind him, there's not a lot of experience at the wideout spot. What they lack there they more than make up for at the tight end position.
You know what's called, Joel? It's called playing to your strengths. And so you're a wide receiver on this team. You may not get a lot of balls in some day. Maybe it's Levine Tuola. Maybe it's, Ryan Whalen.
Gaffney up to the 15. He's got the first down on 2nd and a yard. Andrew Luck was a kick yesterday when he goes, when I visited here, he goes, yeah, I'd like to throw it 50, 60 times. Yeah. He comes from Houston, Stratford High School. Craig James out of Stratford High School, our buddy. He goes, but playing to the strengths, he goes, the best friend of a quarterback is a great ground game.
But he said, I'd be lying if sometimes I don't fantasize about playing in one of those offenses where you do that. And I can't put the ball in the air every play, but he likes this style of offense because he knows it works, and he put a lot on him right now. Changing the play, getting to the right play.
It's Gaffney, big lane over to the left side. And they'll put it down inside the 10. Andrew Luck has almost like a linebacker's mentality. His stature is 6'4", 240.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind mixing it up at all.
I saw him throw one of those deflected interceptions against USC last year, and he went and made the tackle, Joel. It was the best hit of the game. I mean, he's got some scrapes on the jersey right now. I mean, that's the way he's not going to have a clean jersey at the end of games.
Well, the shot he applied to Cal Bear last season on his scramble. That was one of the hits they like to talk about more than anything else in Palo Alto. On second, it's Gaffney. He's already got a touchdown out of the Wildcat tonight. Man, it's going to be a 1st and goal.
Look at this, Joel. I mean, they started this drive with over 8 minutes to go. It's going to be down. They're going to snap this with under 2. 6 minutes here, just wearing down UCLA, trying to put the finishing touches on it. And the Big Hogs getting a good sweat. We haven't said much about some of the young guys up there. Schwartzstein taking over at center. David Yankee at left guard. Fleming over at right tackle, replacing some seniors that departed this year. They've won their competitions, and now they're getting a chance to enjoy game day here at Stanford.
Inside of 2 minutes. It's Luck. And the bullet. Owusu, touchdown Stanford. Oh, by the way, he can throw in the run a little.
Yeah, throw perfectly, too. And he gets his #1 target involved in the outside, who looked like he was getting tackled in the end zone. But here he is out on the outside. Owusu working to get open one-on-one. Look at that throw on the run. And that is good coverage. And that Abbott has had good coverage all night. The coverage, or the throw beat the coverage.
A lot of people were staying up for that one back east. Extra point is good by Williamson. Man, with 1:51 left, it is now Stanford 45, UCLA 19, Palo Alto. The finishing touches for the Stanford Cardinal in their 3rd straight win over UCLA. And a busy day in the Pac-12. Wilson, Barkley, Keith Price, Osweiler, and the numbers they put together. And what a day for Matt Barkley with a school record. USC has got a great tradition, great talent every year there. 468 passing yards. I know it's student body left, but that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, but he came in as a rookie or as a freshman, and he got some valuable experience, and that's a guy I think that's just getting better and better. And if you look at those numbers, it's going to be tough now. Anybody that plays Stanford, can they have the ball enough? Can they make the plays? Because they're going to play keep away. They did it tonight. Look at the numbers by Luck. I mean, almost flawless. Just a great job of taking care of the football, making every throw count. 3 touchdown throws tonight. 2 to Fleener and 1 there to Owusu. 2 seniors that are being counted on heavily in the passing game.
Well, if you wondered about Stanford, after a week off and a convincing win on the road against an Arizona team that has been taken apart to a certain extent by a few teams, as Marvray hits the deck, and that kind of sums it up for UCLA tonight, especially with their play in that area, special teams. Time now for our Toyota playbook, Ryan.
Well, here it is. You're going to get right there, you're going to get Gaffney in at the quarterback position right here. He's going to fake it underneath, and things are just going to open up inside.
Nobody at home.
Yeah, Yankee with a good block, the left guard. Andrew Luck out there at wide receiver. Kind of misdirection. They did a lot of that tonight. And we saw him work on that yesterday in practice. He executed perfectly.
Good news for Yankee and what he's accomplished in a short period of time. As Briho has had heat all night long. Down in the comeback trail is short for Rosario. Yankees 6'5", yet he's at guard because he gets so low. He is so athletic for a tall guy.
Well, he was at tackle for a long time, and he finally went to guard. It worked out great.
Jim Knox.
Joel, Andrew Luck on the sidelines, he's like a coach as well. Continues to come over his offensive line, tells him keep the momentum up, keep the momentum up. I talked to him before the game. You know, it was really interesting. I said, hey, are you a better quarterback this year than last year? He said, you bet. I said, how? He said, footwork. He showed us not only in the pocket presence tonight, but also as a wide receiver, footwork down the sidelines.
Pretty good hands on that catch from Drew Terrell that you're talking about, Jim. Rio in trouble. Man, a little late on the recognition by the running back for UCLA, Malcolm Jones, the sophomore. Now the pressure from Henry Anderson. So it's going to be 3rd and 10, minute 37 to play. As Stanford will win their 12th consecutive game, the longest winning streak in the nation. They'll now be 19-2 over the last 21 on their home field. Things have certainly changed on the farm, the overall culture of Stanford football.
Well, they expect to win now. And, and they've got the players that have developed, that have been brought through the system, that have gotten bigger, they've gotten stronger, they're in the right place. I think they expect a great deal of success as they play every week here to the end of the season.
Jones on the carry. Former Gatorade National High School Player of the Year in 2009. So UCLA will punt it away on 4th and a couple as the clock continues to roll to the minute mark. So they knew they couldn't beat themselves, and that's what UCLA did. They gave them 14 points, let's face it, because there were 2 short fields. If you join us late turnovers, a 28-yard drive and a 43-yard drive. After mistakes, the ball on the ground for UCLA, and also 2 missed extra points.
I mean, Rick Neuheisel in the post-game press conference will say, look, we had the opening drive, went down to the 1, and we didn't score. And so they didn't take advantage of some of the opportunities they had in this game.
Drew Terrell. Oh, 2 Bruins collided. Once again, it's friendly fire. As Tevin McDonald lost his helmet. And fortunately, everybody's getting back up. A little groggy, a little wobbly. Well, we recognize now our Lott Impact Player of the Week. The only collegiate award where character counts is awarded to a defensive player that best exemplifies integrity, maturity, performance, academics, community, and tenacity. And last week's winner, Oklahoma State's Roderick Brown. 5'8" junior from Houston, 8 tackles, a pick, broke up 2 plays. And he had a deflection as well, which ended up being intercepted in that big 1-point win for the Oklahoma State Cowboys over Texas A&M last Saturday, 30-29. Now the new quarterback for Stanford to take a knee is Brett Nottingham, right up here in the Bay Area.
Probably laughing because he's going out there for Andrew Luck for 1 play to take a knee.
Tall guy like Luck at 6'4", 220. And will he take a knee?
No, you're not going to take a knee to stop it. You're just going to hand it off.
The carry for Ricky Seal, and looking ahead for Stanford. It'll be Colorado. Colorado losing a tough one at home today, but a big win for Washington State. Then the Cougs on the road. Always tough in the Palouse. Seattle, they don't go there. They've got the Huskies here. USC on the 29th. That will be a classic confrontation at the Coliseum. So 2 old friends that were on the staff of Brian Billick a few years back in the Baltimore Ravens. David Shaw and Rick Neuheisel. Now UCLA, we're there next Saturday night at the Rose Bowl. They've got to regroup in a hurry because the Cougars have momentum coming in. And the Cougars now 3-1. As you look at UCLA's upcoming schedule, Jim Knox.
Coach, perfectly on offense. Perfect demonstration as far as running and passing the football. Andrew, 3 touchdowns. Offensive line blew the holes wide open.
That's us. That's who we are. We're a balanced team. We want to throw it. We want to run it. We want to be able to do it whenever we want to. We don't like when the defense dictates to us, so we try to dictate to the defense.
Talk about also, Andrew, 3 touchdown tosses, also got in on a little wide receiver action. Your thoughts on that dive in one-ram grab?
Well, if we got a better throw from Drew Terrell, we might have scored a touchdown, but, he's an unbelievable athlete. The guy can do anything. He can probably play any position, but we like what he does at quarterback.
Your thoughts on how the defense played tonight?
Defense played well. We knew it was going to be tough sledding. They're a good running team. We tried to stop the run, and they made some nice runs. I mean, they're a good football team, and our defense came up and played a good second half.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. Joel?
All right, we talk about the efficiency, the leadership. Andrew Luck, it bears out once again, 23 of 27 passing. Just the way he runs this system.
Yeah, it's really such good execution. I mean, this play right here, David Shaw just mentioned, he could probably play any position. He's that kind of an athlete. But then with the ball in his hand, I mean, he's got some tight ends that can catch it and go get it. Fleener with a couple of them. That one, the second play, the third quarter, kind of helped that one on the run to the senior Owusu.
And the key, the ball gets there in a hurry. Jim Knox.
Andrew Luck now with us. You dissected that Bruins defense tonight. 3 touchdowns, 240 yards through the air. Did it look as easy as you looked out there?
No, I think we came out and executed well. It's a quality defense over there, but I think our guys were real anxious having a week off, but it was nice to come out and put some good ball on film.
You also got into the pass receiving knack, that one-handed grab down the sideline. You knew you were in bounds, didn't you?
I actually had no clue. I was hoping I was. It was a great throw by Drew. I was lucky to come down with it.
Andrew, talk about this offensive line. You guys moved the ball well. Time of possession, also dividing it equally, just about equally with the pass and the run. They kept you pretty clean tonight and also opened some nice holes from Taylor.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't want to play behind another group. They're great people. They're great football players, obviously. They come to work every day with a sort of chip on their shoulder, as all the linemen do. But, it's an honor to be on the field with them.
All right, Andrew, congratulations on the big win. Joel?
All right, Andrew Luck, an amazing young man, and you'll hear more about him. So Stanford and Luck easily over UCLA tonight, 45-19.